Welcome to Deathmatch World Cup 4 Deciders, Improvise versus Kasva, and we have KD co-casting. So tell us what you think about this matchup and maybe answer my question. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay, fine. So, did I practice? Yeah, I've been doing a lot of practice. I didn't necessarily overanalyze. I think sometimes you're at a danger when you're in a tournament to over-plan. So I think it was very much kind of go with the flow. I did suspect, though, that Improvise might pick some cavalry-based civs, which we saw in game 2. He picked Franks. So had it not been my pick in game 3, perhaps we might have seen another cavalry-based civ. But obviously with me winning the first 2 games, it meant I got a little bit fortunate with being able to pick something. I picked Slavs, which is something that I quite enjoy. I quite enjoy a good Slavs war. So, for this, in terms of this game, was your second question around sort of predictions for this game specific, or?
Yeah, what do you think about Goss on Golden Pill in general? Well, we see now it's 6 racks for Kasva, and we had like 7 rack starts for Improvise.
Yeah, so I'm literally just getting into this game because I need to turn my sound down. It's really loud. So at the moment, yeah, Kasva with the 6 barracks opener, but no siege workshops yet, or am I wrong there?
Yeah, it's looking also kind of dangerous in his base. He only lost 1 villager, but there was a lot of red in there.
Yeah, so I probably right now, just for the simple fact of even having some siege works up there from Improvise, I'd probably favor his opener a little bit. Let me just go to pop count as well. So pop count's about equal at the moment as well. Kasva leading just slightly ahead on my screen, but more siege workshops coming up from Improvise. He's got the slightly nicer map, I would say, just in terms of, okay, he's got forward golds just the same as Kasva on his base, but he actually has a little bit more build space at the front there. You can see the siege workshop coming up in the gap.
Yeah, that's where you want to build him. Well, we have the first engagement in the middle. Villager count actually better for Kasva with that back raid there, being very effective on the house bills. So pop cap, way better for Kasva. 130 pop cap, 290, which is very important in a Gospel because the units come out so fast.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing Kasva's kind of opener here because there are siege workshops coming up, but he's really very sparse with them. So I'd be interested how he takes these fights, especially with these bottlenecks. You can see here, like the units kind of getting a little bit clustered up.
Yeah. He also still has a lot of Huskars alive that he's gonna loop around, which is the right thing to do. They are not too great in the main fight at this point.
I suppose with you know, any kind of golden hit set, you know, matchup, you kind of want to get bursted out into that kind of open gold, you know, right out from the get-go if you can. And you can see these castles coming up from Kasva. That siege workshop is a bit of an odd placement that he's trying to build. I'm not quite sure I would build it there personally.
Could block his like reinforcements a bit, right? And I mean, it's not going up because the champions are walking over it.
Yeah, the units are walking over it. I probably would have just picked it slightly to the side, so at least that village is building it up. But
it happens a lot in God War, though. I always have this like, don't put the siege workshop in the middle because it will never get built because there's always a unit running over it.
Yeah. So for me, this could be a little bit of Kaspa's slight lack of DM knowledge here. Perhaps not choosing to go for siege workshops, but then I suppose this is the opening game, so this is pre-selected, so it's not that you wouldn't have had a chance to practice the civ, so maybe he had a particular game plan. I'm not sure how it's going to work out against these massing siege scorpions, sorry, these ones that Improvise has got just at the back here.
He did really nice job with those Huskars in the back though, so villager count is 17 to 10 now, and he did deny 2 TCs in the back of Improvise base. So very nice move
still
there.
Holding on to a lot of gold as well, twice the amount to Improvise at this moment. That could be down to how much is queued there.
But not too much siege workshop queue for both of them also, like I don't see any like 5 scorpions in the queue only for Improvise there.
Yeah, and only about the same for Kasva right now as well, actually. 6. He's actually massing them up now. So we've got a little bit more coming out from Kasva here. And no castles coming up for Improvise whatsoever. But Improvise, you can see here, sweeping down on the bottom left. Yeah, doing a lot of damage to
wow,
Kasva.
Yeah. And he also took a great fight in the middle, on his home hill, kind of, or his side of the pitch. And yeah, that's really good. Denied the market, castle, and the TC.
Yeah, that's nice. I suppose the market there might have been a slight panic for Kasva.
Is he out of food? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
4 villagers on
slight...
food, 30 food. That's the reason for the market.
Yeah. I think Improvise's general economy is going to come up to be better. Just looking at placement. And whilst they're actually both out of food, I think that looking at the pop difference, Kasva's going to struggle now.
Yeah, you can have this problem that happened to me in my World Cup games as well, and I think to both of them yesterday too in the decider, that you overmake champions a bit and then you don't have like enough room for your will production anymore, food-wise.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with Goths, because you can so easily overextend. You can just burn out food in no time at all, especially if you do try and pick market just for a little bit of extra gold for a push or something like that, because you think you might be able to out and out kill them in the opener. So you have to be very careful with that. And early eco is just a given in Goth War.
Absolutely.
But raiding, of course, is always a problem in Goths, because you can snipe bills very easily with Huskals, a few barracks on the side, etc. So...
I heard Trev saying nobody's making helms and he's disappointed because he accidentally made helms in his World Cup games 2 days ago.
I must jump on your stream actually, because then I'll be able to see the chat. So I'm so out of sorts now, because I planned to be on a little bit earlier and then obviously was running a little bit behind.
No worries. I would also have had lunch in the garden if I had a garden, so can't blame me for that. I'm a bit envious. Both try to make these side racks here. Improvise is on it and gonna clean them now. Game is slowed down quite a bit after the start. Everybody trying to get his catch of the middle, but still no structures being built there from Improvise.
To be fair, Improvise is playing this quite nicely at the moment. He's done a good job of just keeping Kasva away from the main gold with those initial attacks, and he's just playing it a little bit more defensively, I suppose, just at this moment, because he's probably thinking, well, you know, I'm just going to let my economy build up, focus on that for a minute, and then push in, which looks like he's going to do now.
Yeah, you could ignore, like, we've seen that yesterday, like, Spring completely ignored the middle and set everything to a side attack on Camret, while Camret had 3 castles in the middle and wasn't really contested there, but, yeah, Spring ended up taking the middle after reducing Camret enough.
I think it's going to boil down to who wins this fight now. Because if Kasva could get a little bit of motion back into the middle, then potentially he might be able to pick some of this gold once he gets his eco sorted. But to be honest, right now I still feel like the advantage is given to Improvise at this moment.
And he has the bombard cannons are be very useful here.
He has the stone. If you look, he's got another 950 banked. He's got 1 castle coming up onto the gold now. Kasva is running low on military numbers, and unless he's got something pretty soon, he's gonna be probably out of this game.
Well, they're kind of equal, right? 35 to 34 right now. Don't see any champions on the field really anymore. Only Siege. That speaks for Fudiko could be a bit quicker, but like, whoa, 42 farms for Improvise, 2k food. That's something that Kasva doesn't have. I mean, he has 36 farms, fair game to him, but he has no food in the bank.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a slippery slope here for Kasva unless he can do something, I would say. I would definitely prefer Improvise's position at this moment. He just looks like he's got a lot more presence across the map as well. You can see, look, he's moving from the left and from the right, going in for raids.
He cleared up on both sides some buildings from Kasva. Kasva was also trying to have like side racks, which is applaudable, but now the raids are coming in indeed.
Yeah. I just feel like this is probably Improvise's game, and as I say, unless Kasva can do something, there is a little bit now of reaction coming in from Kasva on the right-hand side. You can see he's going to be having some build.
Watching big fight in the middle right now. A lot of champions got flattened there by the Scorpions in a choke point, and on a shot not really hitting the Scorpions, so should be advantageous for Improvise there.
Yeah, trying to take out those... He's only got Scorpions in that moment to take out those Trebs. It's kind of like the last thing you really want to be taking down Trebs with if you can help it, but they're doing the job, so...
Improvise could be shooting the Trap at the Scorpions even, but he's more concentrated. He's in like so many spots in the base. Now quite hitting from the like lower side of the map as well. And we're doing well on the source score rates there.
I think from an analysis point of view, you know, the central gold isn't absolute for Goths because they're not really a gold intensive civ. So, you know, actually being able to raid like Improvise is doing right now, scooping around the map, you know, picking vills, just trying to generally be annoying to Kasva means that he can pretty much claim the gold without really much in any way of being contested.
Yeah, and food is like kind of so much more valuable. At least like when there's so much gold, what do you even do with it? Also with the stone. Don't think they have good towers. Like normally in Golden Pit you see a lot of towers, right? I don't know what the tower attacks on Goths actually are, but I think they're pretty shit.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, as well, like, I don't know, towers in a Goth war, is it really gonna... If something was really boiling down to wood at the end, I mean, my god, that would have to be a really long, like, Goth war. And even then, you've got Huskars that could just dispatch them pretty easily. You've got bombard cannons, trebs, like, I don't know, I just don't see it being, you know, that worrying if someone started putting up loads of towers in the middle or something.
But you wouldn't do it with every civ that has decent towers like normally, right? Like there's civs... even Celts people do a lot of towers. I've seen that.
I think Orcut's very renowned. The code is very renowned for whacking towers up, especially like if this was, I don't know, another civ like maybe Portuguese or something, you might suddenly see like, you know, loads and loads of towers coming up. It's just a very nice way to stay sure-footed when you're massing up bombard cannons and just generally being annoying.
Not a good try for Improvise there.
I mean, I don't think it matters that he wastes here. It's fine. His eco stabilized now.
Got some okay shots too, even though he was fighting under the castle. But yeah, you could argue it's not really necessary for him to push up the hill here.
I think, to be honest with you, at this moment, it feels like the game is coming to a close. I feel like Improvise just needs to push now in the middle, and sure, he'll take some worse fights because of the hill advantage given to Kasva, but he'll eventually just outflood him in units, and that will just, in my opinion, will probably bring the game to a close. And you can see here as well, Improvise, you know, has access to the golds. He can generally be annoying. There's no castle presence here from Kasva as well, so.
And he's driving him out of the middle now.
I would take the loss here, as in like losing units. I would just be like, fine, just waste. It doesn't matter. Just keep hold of the gold and just wait until you put him into a position of losing, which looks like it might go that way.
Kasva worked hard on getting his farm eco up, but it's getting raided a lot. Also very, like, why does he still have farmers on that right side? I mean, it's very exposed there. Maybe like here would have been better. I
guess it's with Gothport, you know, you said something earlier that I just wanted to address as well. You said about like stone, and you talked about towers and stuff. I suppose for late game, you kind of want to hoard that stone in case you start dropping castles and eco becomes exposed. In Goths, like with Huskar being able to kind of just push in on side eco and stuff. That could be devastating. You can sweep the economy very, very quickly. Dispatch town centers very easily as well. Yeah. But, you know, right now, gold and stone, or the stone rather, just needs to be used for that middle point. You can see the GG called on my screen. Yep. Sorry, I don't know if it was slightly behind on your stream, but...
Oh, no, I just didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
I think we were perfectly on time.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty decisive game there for Improvise going into this tournament 1-0.
Yeah, well played.
It's serious, sorry. Yeah.
But it's only a game 1 in the best of 7. Like anything can happen still,
of course. Right? Yeah, it can still tip the other way. It'd be interesting now as well to see what Kasva's gonna choose.
Yeah, he picked Vikings on Ghost Lake against you. I remember that game at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that was you mean the Vikings war against me? Sorry, did you say?
Yeah, Vikings on Ghost Lake, and he won in the end with a lot of unique unit. How's it called? Berserkers, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, that was, to be honest with you, Kasva played that pretty textbook. To be honest with you, like just closing me off with the relics, and there was not much I could do. He also took market that game as well, so he got that slight edge in resource, and I think it just helped him to push out. I was trying to cap that bottom left-hand sort of, or directly south, I suppose you could say, gold point. But in the end, the relic advantage was too much.
Do you see the game 2 or lobby already, maybe?
I was just literally, I must admit, I didn't analyze the statistics. I don't know if you were going to make a comment there about them, but
I just showed them if you had
straight
comments to them.
I mean, just as a kind of a high level view of that game, I just feel like, as I say, it seemed pretty decisive from the get go. From Improvise, I think the one lack for Kasva was not, using some of those resources into wood and gold for the Scorpions. I think if he'd done that, he wouldn't have necessarily overextended on infantry and cost himself a lot of food, which means he might have stabilized and uptimed on eco that a little bit quicker. And I feel like he just felt pretty oppressed by Improvise by the sort of the middle of that game, once the castles came up on the main gold spots and just sweeping down the sides and just being generally annoying in his eco.
Yeah, so what's your prediction? Thanks for the analysis. What's your prediction what Kasva's gonna pick now?
Ooh, I don't know. I think that we're definitely... I feel like we're going to see a Huns played out from Kasva.
I was right. I found it. Sorry. It's Vikings on Ghost Lake.
It's Vikings on Ghost Lake. I think we're gonna see a Hun, but I think it will be maybe a little bit later on in the tournament, yeah.
If there's 2 home maps in this.
Yeah.
So we can still both pick right. I'm waiting for you at 1 second in.
Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Have you got the game ID?
I just easily found it on a2.net. If you type like Kasva in ongoing matches, it's probably easier than typing down the number. But I can also send you the number. It's there.
No, it's okay. I'll have a quick look and see if I can find it. One second. Improvise. There we go. Yep, I think I found it now. And game ID. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was very helpful. So that's the thing. I don't I don't cast that often these days, so it's just a little bit of rust, I think, coming out in terms of getting into games quickly.
Yeah. Did you do more casting in the past? I've mainly seen you playing on your stream.
No, I've casted as well in the past. It's just been a little while.
Yeah, you seem like a natural.
Thanks. I've had a little bit of practice in the past.
But apparently it's not a natural, it is professional experience.
Well, I just, I don't know, I've always had an interest in well, that's just why I took up the opportunity today. I thought it sounds great, jump in and get to say a bit of my piece. I'm trying to find this game. Oh, there it is. I've found it now. Brilliant. Okay, I don't know, it took a little bit of time to pop up on my game client, but
it will probably be a while. I don't expect this to end like in 5 minutes.
No. Okay, I'm paused at 2 seconds. You're like at 1, so I'll let you unpause first.
Well, hey, now I'm at 4. You just do the countdown and I'll adapt.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm 6 now, so okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
I think 2 seconds to a throw don't really matter that much. So yeah, how should you approach this map in your opinion?
Ooh, interesting one. Let me just have a brief look at it. So we've got Improvise has a forward gold, which potentially could, I don't know, it depends what Kasva does in this opener. There is a side hill you can see which could cover 2 gold spots potentially, one behind for Kasva, and I think actually the gold balancing for Kasva, it's definitely in his favor. Same with relics as well, actually. I'm kind of going with Kasva on this in terms of just map. Just depends on what he does.
Do you see his house placement?
Yeah, it's
what
a little
is
bit.
This?
I'm not sure why it's so kind of arced out. Maybe he's going to build something in the gap.
Is that a clump attempt? At first, is he clumping? What? No, that's not a clump. It's just weird houses. Does he want to put siege workshops in there?
Probably boils down to how he held shift. And just the way he kind of moved his cursor around, that it just dropped in that way.
There will be 4 racks, 7 ranges for Kasva, and 4 racks. 4 ranges only for Improvise. So Improvise going quick on the castles and siege workshops here.
What's your prediction for this game based on just the map or anything you want to say about it?
I mean, Kasva seemed really strong in the game that I mentioned, and the relic spots look really good for him, so maybe he can pull the same off there. I'm interested to see whether the less archery range start makes, I guess that's for quicker rams and onagers.
So yeah, I think with Vikings, me personally, I tend to go less on the rats and more on archery ranges just in the opener, and then it's about getting those berserkers out as quickly as possible. So both players choosing to go with 4-axe opener, which I find interesting.
Yeah, I would do like 2 or 3. Usually.
Yeah, I would do about maybe 2, possibly 3. Yeah, the kind of the maximum. But I suppose I don't know. I quite like Kasva's opener here with pushing more Arbalest because I think it's going to give him more, well, like a better lead on the KD. And then to top it off, it might mean he gets a little bit more in terms of that map presence, which you can see there, that villager going out on the left-hand side at the north, and it's building a castle there.
Yeah, that shield should be pretty crucial there. I mean, controls a lot, also controls a relic. Right side isn't too important, not too much there. Just for later stages probably, and it is an advantageous hill to Kasva for sure, because he's closer to it.
I feel like Improvise might be panicking soon, if I'm honest. I mean, he's going Scorpions, which I find really curious. He's gone Scorpions.
Yeah, that's weird. I see them, but I was expecting Onagers to come out, or maybe Rams.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Onagers would be better maybe, and then with the Rams as well if you want to produce them. But to be honest with you, on the flat here, I don't see any kind of, there's no stress here for Kasva. He looks like he's got this.
Where are these villagers going? Did you see those 2 villagers running into Improvise's Arbalest?
Oh my god!
And there's more coming. Whoa! Did he double click his vills? Did he reset that gather point wrong?
He may have done that.
That's a front gather point issue, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an error that he needs to correct pretty quick. I don't think it's going to be game changing if he only lost like 10 vills, but especially with TC's up already, he just needs to make sure that he doesn't send any.
Yeah, this looks like he's king of the hill, and he's trying to like all in the middle and sending his eco forward.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some good denies, by the way, in the south from Improvise, just stopping a forward castle. Looked like he was trying to get it in there to economy, but I just feel like the main battle here in the middle is Kasva's right now.
He has the Onagers out, which would be my favorite siege unit in the Vikings War. What's your opinion? Which siege units would you make in which ratio?
Sorry, you mean specifically in like this
in
kind
Vikings.
of matchup? Yeah, Vikings. I would Onagers just all the way, really. Rams are good if you're gonna make, you know, if you're gonna try and make a push. But, you know, straight down the middle up against Onagers and Berserkers, Champions as well, the effectiveness of the Ram isn't really all there. Especially as you probably are going to, as game goes on, you're going to want to keep building Arbalest, but, you know, not to the extent you will at the beginning. The opener's definitely always going to be Arbalest top heavy, and then you're probably going to switch into a kind of a more Berserker heavy arrangement. So, again, like the edge of having Rams goes down.
It was like there was a really bad fight before this one for Kasva, where he had all his Onagers sitting in the back and lost all his Arbalest, but now he brought the Onagers in and instantly got position back. And we have 4 traps working on that castle there, so
yeah,
that should give him inroads towards the main goal.
Yeah, actually 5 traps working on it. There's one slightly above, so 5 traps going to take out that castle. Down it goes.
And now what are the Rams doing? Now we have Berserks and Onagers, so... Okay, and now we have Kasva adding his own Rams when I'm criticizing Improvise for making the Rams, of course!
Improvise has definitely made a mistake, I feel, here by going a little bit too top-heavy on Rams when he doesn't really have the army to commit. And when you're in a defensive position, sitting on that many Rams, it's not necessarily a position you want to be in. But it could be that you just felt like he was going to go for a push. That didn't ever transpire, so he just had them queued. Which happens a lot, by the way.
I still think this push from Kasva would be more effective if he had more Onagers and less Rams, because he could just trust on the trebuchets to kill the buildings, but obviously Rams for the aggressor are better than for the defender.
For me, I feel like Kasva, his attack here is solid. I don't know if Improvise is going to have much reply to this. He's already got 3 relics bagged. You know, there's all that gold that he had access to. I just feel like Improvise kind of had not the best map and not certainly the best opener when it came to this kind of main fight.
Yeah, not enough archer ranges mainly, right? When it comes down to, he should have been probably pretty hard at the start to try to contest that top hill there.
Yeah, I feel like,
but it's rough.
I feel like Improvise went to the south, which I just don't really. There's not really anything down there. It's not. Just don't see why he curved off to the right. I think he should have pushed to try and take that hill, upper left placement and tried to deny those 2 goals where possible. But the thing is, it always boiled down to this opening fight. And if you look, Kasva's got a little bit more land before he hits the ice. So he had a little bit more build space for those onages and just pressed into Improvise very nicely. I even think, did he take market as well? Possibly. So just got that little bit extra leverage with gold units.
Yeah, he did. At least the market was taken. Sold down to 18 now.
I feel like Improvise is possibly out of this game.
Yeah, this is over.
I can't see him being able to do anything here.
This is like super over. He's pushed off his main gold. He's even going to lose like that hill, potentially one relic that he has, and also Ram's working at like stables. Okay, they're working at stables.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm querying some of the decisions that Improvise made in this game. I feel like maybe a little bit of nerves came into play. Maybe it's this kind of extension over to the right-hand side, the southern right-hand side kind of move where he's got grouped 6 here. You can see light cavalry. I don't. Those decisions in this kind of moment don't really compute to me. But again, could be nerves.
I think it was already over when he made the stables, probably. But
yeah,
that right-hand side, like there's hills there, but there's hills like not getting much.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Improvise, but I suppose he gets the pick now, game 3.
He does.
Winner of game 1, right? So actually, this could be an interesting. I don't know. I suppose could we see the Franks? Is that what we could see in this game? Possibly.
Would be my go-to saying too, because you always say Franks when you don't know. I don't know too much about Improvise, if I'm honest.
I think Improvise is probably more classically those kind of civs that you might tend to see, like cavalry-based kind of Huns, Franks, those kind of ones. Those are the ones I was anticipating as well in our series that we might see. I saw one of those with the Franks pick, so it wouldn't surprise me if Improvise did that here. But to be honest with you, I feel like Kasva's strength is actually in some of his cavalry-based civs. I haven't seen him really in any Franks games, at least that I can recall. So yeah, I'd be interested to see.
You are right. It is Franks. I found it on AU2.net. And by the way, he did use market. He had 10k to 5k gold.
Oh right,
so
yeah.
That's affirm that.
Make a difference.
Yeah. Let me get into Franks War on Serengeti though. Okay, it's not Arabia.
Yeah. Well, that was the pick that he did against.
Oh god, is it already over? Did we miss it? I had invaluable game ID problem.
Oh really? Let me see. It might have been that there was a game restart. That could have happened. Could have been a crash.
I'm clicking on spectate and it's giving me invalid on AU2.net. Let me try to see in game if I can find it there.
I can't see a game up for it right this second on AOE2.net, so it could be that they've just had to do a restart.
Could be. Well, we can always look on Kasva's stream what's going on. If I ever get through the ad.
That's the only downside, isn't it? Yeah, the ads are long.
They got a lot longer, I feel.
Just see.
Thanks for the follow, Charge92, and also Extra Magic that I missed 4 minutes ago. Thanks, you guys.
Not seeing anything yet. But interesting. So a Frank's pick is the potential here, as long as the game isn't actually over. I can't see how it could possibly have been over that quick. I would struggle to see.
I'm not sure. Okay, Kasva just put his webcam out, which might be an indication that he's tilted because he lost in 5 minutes.
Really?
No clue.
I don't see it. I really don't see how, but maybe. I mean,
maybe we were just a little bit behind because from you trying to find the last game, it was actually like 10 minutes, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me try to get the rec of A2.net in case it is already over.
If you got rushed down, maybe it could happen.
Can happen, right?
Yeah, could just get very
Thanks,
unlucky.
are pretty brutal.
And if you called it early, yep, that's always that.
It doesn't
chance.
show me the rec download icon, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna have a look at Improvise's main profile just to see if I can see. Yeah, man.
6 minutes ago, they played Franks, but I don't have the download thing there.
Yeah, no, me neither. That's the thing about AoE 2. It does take a little bit of time to catch up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Huh. So yeah, it seems like Kaz was thinking about a pick. So I think we actually missed it and Improvise won.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, that's a quick game, if that's the case. Because we couldn't have been that far behind.
Yeah, maybe we can take a look at the, like, after the series is over, take a quick look at the rec of that when it's there. But I would, like, not try to find it anymore and hop into the seemingly Inca war that Kaz was gonna pick.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I am going to just see if I can get that game up. I haven't got anything yet. I don't know. You in the game?
It's
Or
not up
finally
yet.
in
No,
the
no. Kasva's webcam is off and he's waiting in the lobby and he's picked Incas. That's what I know.
Ah, okay, fair.
And that's why I just
Sorry,
assumed from that they played the Franks and Improvise won.
I didn't have your stream up, so I couldn't see your screen for a second.
No worries. And yeah, I'm still checking every2.net, so maybe we could like speed through the rec, but
yeah, I'm checking it too. Nothing showing yet.
But there's also not the rec symbol for the like Goth War or Viking War, so
yeah, I've still got nothing as well.
Daywalker, welcome. So Daywalker is affirming that Improvise won the Franks. Daywalker, if you have the record of that somewhere, maybe if you were like spectating from in-game, you should have the record, right? If you could maybe send it to us, that would be amazing. And welcome. David is rooting for Kasva.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it on Kasva's stream. Okay, yeah, that.
I mean, we suspected that with near certainty there, didn't we? That
Yeah,
it was a quick game out. It must have been down to a rush. I can only imagine, unless Kasva did something where he didn't queue paladins. We have seen that in the series where he played against me. In the
but he
game,
didn't queue paladins. I have to admit, I haven't gotten around to watch that one yet.
So yeah, in the final game between us in our first, my first matchup of the tournament, and yeah, in game five, sorry, my third win against him. In that game, he didn't build paladins, so it could just be one of those things, you know, when you're coming into deathmatch and you haven't had too much prior practice, these little things are easily.
You mean he just didn't queue his stables, right? Because
he literally just didn't.
I've seen you not make paladins in Frank's War against Baraka, and that was pretty amazing.
Oh, I see what you mean. Going like racks instead of stables.
Yeah, that was a great strategy. I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, I did something actually. I don't know if you saw the Frank game that I played against Improvise. I did a similar thing where I went actually less stables, and then I bulked up on stables, and I managed to push him off the hill after he kind of went overextended on paladins and trying to push me, and yeah, I just kind of weakened his initial attack and then went straight for him. So that wasn't something that I could have planned beforehand. It's just one of them when you're in the game, you just kind of think this could work, and you just give it a go.
Yeah, they're actually in the game. Loading it up. We have Incas on Ghost Lake again.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I'll just be 1 second while I bring up the game.
So instead of Abelisks and Oranges, we're gonna see Slingers and Oranges now.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar play as Vikings, as Civs go. It's not too different. Okay, so I've got the game ID. I'm just gonna load in. Sorry if I'm a second or two behind.
Oh, never mind. I'm ready to go whenever you are. And Joro, I think Greek claimed that. So Yeti vs Temple will be on Greek stream.
Ah, fair enough.
Are they actually playing now? Did they have like agreed to a time? Because I would have had it on my pre-game screen if I knew the time, but there was still nothing confirmed yet.
Are you meaning that directly at Joro? I'm not sure.
Yeah, basically. But I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go. Welcome to game 4. I was almost saying game 3, because, well, we didn't get to see that. And do we have barracks? Yeah, we have barracks for Improvise. What? I hope we have only one.
I'll be honest with you.
We have 5.
I like barracks in the opener for Incas, but I certainly wouldn't be looking to build 5. So this is an interesting kind of start here from Improvise, and possibly could be down to not playing this Civ that often.
Has to be, right? 5 barracks is clearly wrong in my opinion. I mean, 1 you could maybe argue. I would still be for 0, but
yeah, 1, possibly 2 if you were going to push them. But for me, this is Kasva's pick now, though, right?
Yeah, it is Kasva's pick.
I can see that as being a potentially like a smart move, going for the kind of the Vikings, then come Inca. You know, these are civs that aren't cavalry based, don't necessarily favor to improvise kind of strengths, I suppose. So this would be an interesting one to see, especially with Eagles. This is really...
I think this is just he doesn't know how to play this. I mean, Eagles obviously, like, they instantly die against the slingers, as you can see here.
Yeah, like quite literally almost instantly, yeah.
So, yeah, why would you, like, do 1 or 2 racks? In my feeling, it was just like, okay, you make infantry and it just gets 2-shotted by the slingers every time.
Well, I think that sometimes with racks, I do like to build 1 or 2 generally when I play it, simply because champions, I don't know, maybe there's a slight comfort in having champions because of picking out for onagers. So slingers are just not that great against onagers, to be blunt. Yeah. So, you know, it's nice to have them there just to snipe sometimes.
I like the Kameyuks later on. The Kameyuks can be a good unit later on.
Yeah, Kameyuks can be nice, especially if you're treb picking or just generally being annoying. Picking off bills in a side raid, maybe onagers as well.
Yeah, I played a nice Inca war against Greek yesterday. It was he kind of surprised me with the amount of Kameyuks he made and pushed me back for a while.
Yeah, they are a good unit to throw into the mix. But slingers, generally, slingers and onagers being kind of the dominant units, I would probably say. Just because it's very hard to push when you've got both slingers and onagers kind of masked, and you don't have the composition like we're seeing here from Improvise. He doesn't really have the composition to deal with this at this moment in time.
Joro thinks it's too many slingers for Kasva. Might be if we see like more onagers out for Improvise.
Suppose the thing about if you go too top heavy on slingers, onagers could just eat them up.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing really any, well,
that's
not
fine.
much in the way of onagers at least. So, and it's not like Kasva doesn't have good micro. So.
Oh god. That castle, like, Kasva sneaked a villager past there to Improvise, who otherwise has better map control, as he's losing the front fight.
I really hope that Improvise doesn't potentially lose this game in a similar way that he did with the Viking. You know, I just feel like...
I feel it happening. Where's the relic positions at? Are they like as unfortunate for him as before? See one there, that one she should get. And Kasva's already working on them. So that's 3 monasteries up and monks coming out.
For me, this is going to boil down to Improvise's choice in unit composition and his general build order. It's very questionable. Again, we're seeing Kasva just dominate the mid.
We are, and he has the better onager numbers. The Kameyuks are way too early, probably, as we got the amount of slingers coming out, and also some Kameyuks to defend the onagers, I suppose, from maybe eagles coming in or something, trying to snipe them. But that castle went up too for Kasva. Oh god, that's so annoying. Like, it's controlling a stone and denying a stone and a gold for now, so Improvise has to do something about that, but he has kind of bigger issue as well in the middle.
Yeah, well, it's to be honest with you, it's a nice little deny, but also as well, look at Improvise. He has 1 town center on his main gold, where you've got 3 for Kasva. Kasva is looking for relic picks, I suppose, but you know, even if Improvise manages to get them, how is he going to stop this in the middle?
Improvise is gonna get these two, and there was one up south, so he can get 3 if he gets that to the right one. Oh my god, Kasva might sneak it. Time for some relic emotes if you have them.
Improvise was going for a few more in the way of relic snipes right at the beginning. Kasva yet to actually
got
have...
that.
Oh no, he's about to get one.
There.
Yeah, he's got the one. Yeah.
So it's gonna be 3-2. I mean, it's nice. He has these eagles. Like that's the right use for the eagles, just to patrol the gold there and be annoying because they can't like do much in the middle fight. I feel like they're fighting on the ice a lot. What do you think about that? When I tended to train Ghost Lake, I was like using the sides way more and basically never fighting on the ice much.
Yeah, well, for me, I feel like I will address that. I like fighting on the ice in some ways because, you know, like I feel like Kasva's doing what he needs to do here, trying to push the castles. You know, he's pushing from.
Eddie? I don't hear you anymore. Everything's crashing. Probably it's me, actually. My screen is just completely frozen. Okay, my game is back. Do you hear me again, Kitty?
Yeah,
I wasn't able to hear you.
No, I lost you completely there for a second. Are you back or?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm also back in the game, and I can hear you again. Sorry, that was my PC, I think.
Yeah, possibly. I'm looking at your stream, but I'm not seeing anything happening right now. Oh, it's catching up, maybe.
Is the stream still alive?
Yeah, it's okay. I think you're back now, but you are possibly a little bit behind me now. I'm at 1340. I'm just going to pause it at 1340 till you catch up.
I can't click anything, unfortunately. I still see the game. I'm at 1330.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But I have like the bar showing up. I'm still seeing the game. Maybe just comment on the stream, on the game, and I'll fix my situation.
So yeah, so I think all I was just going to say there is I feel like Improvise has made some questionable decisions in this game. And whilst he's getting a few denies in the north against the gold there with the eagles, it's pretty easy to sweep that up for Kasva. And Kasva's just doing a lot of damage in the mid, you know, and once he gets that main
middle
gold...
fight there, Castle should fall again. It really feels like a repeat of the Vikings fall. Lost quite a few slingers there, but he had so many, and yeah, Castle gonna fall, and he's on the main gold. Kinda played out very similarly to the Vikings.
I don't feel like Improvise necessarily had, again, the kind of necessarily the greatest map here, but I still feel like that can't be excused based on that initial build order unless he had some kind of other plan. I feel like that's what's let him down here.
I think it's just a mistake, the 5 racks, yeah. Now the relics are gonna get killed as well. Ghost Lake and infantry, or like, I guess archer civs. I don't know what slingers are really.
Yeah,
kind of range civs, right?
Yeah,
Ghost Lake plus range civ seems to be Kasva's strength.
Very good at taking out infantry there. Very, very good. I feel like this game is definitely in the bag here again for Kasva. Seems to be winning them in very much the same way. I feel like Improvise needs to adapt a little bit here and not necessarily get games taken off from them in seemingly the same fashion.
Yeah.
It seems to be quite quick decided games as well. Nothing seems to go into a kind of a long mid-game. All of them seem to kind of be shutting down in the same way, bar maybe the Franks game, which we didn't get to see.
Yeah, let's see if we can... maybe we should even speed up in order to not miss the next pick. If it's again a 5-minute game. Well, at least we have a close series, right?
Yeah, we can speed it up just to see.
Okay, this is over as it gets here.
Yeah,
I'm going to double speed.
Over. There you go. I'm game over now.
Okay, yeah, that's the GG. Yeah, well played, Kasva. Good pick. Obviously, Kia catching Improvise off guard here.
Yeah,
KD's in his favor. Oh, KD's actually in Improvise's favor. Oh, okay. I guess that's on shots on the slingers.
Yeah, I think Ollie's just playing very defensively. Kasva, we always got something to risk when you're going for the offensive sometimes.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, and Joro makes a good point in the chat that the slingers should be behind the onages actually and not in front. Like we saw them a lot. But didn't matter because the opposition had not enough slingers. Or onages.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see what happens now.
Hans?
With quite possibly. So, is this game 5? Am I getting wrong now? Yeah, this is game 5. It's 2 apiece, right?
It's 2 apiece, yeah.
Mm.
But it's a best of 7, so.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, nice series. I mean, we have a 2-2 series at our hands. It's kind of beautiful.
Mm.
I don't see anything up on AO2.net yet. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if I feel like Hans is the next pick. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure if I feel like it could be the next pick. I think it's definitely a pick we may see. I don't know if it's the next pick though.
The next is the last pick we're gonna see. Because then it's set maps, and I just noticed I have still the wrong stuff up here. Oh god. I still have the stuff from last series there. Let me fix that.
Thing is, Kasva's got good Huns. And if Improvise knows that, will he necessarily want to go for that? Because I assume it's his pick now, right?
It should be, yeah. Everybody gets 2 picks. So... can you look for the game? I will have to fix the situation with my matchup board there, because it's still showing which games Camrad and Spring won yesterday. That's
I'm looking
not
for
ideal.
the game. I'm just gonna go to just to see if they have already launched.
I was when I'm doing the pre-stream setup, I was like, okay, it's the same settings as yesterday. I don't need to change it, and didn't remember that I actually put the games in there.
It's Hans.
It's Hans. Yippee doodle.
Yeah. And it looks like it anyway. It looks like it's Hans. I don't know if it's the map that's currently selected. Current map showing is Ghost Lake, but it is Hans.
So Improvise won that. What was the second game? That was Vikings.
Yep, game 2. So Goths, Vikings, then Franks, then Incas, and now Huns.
Ghost Lake, that went to Kasva. Then we had Franks on Serengeti, was that right? We didn't get to see it, but I thought I saw the map.
Yeah, that was over very quickly.
I went to Improvise, and then we had Incas. Sorry, I'm just fixing this.
Yeah, no worries. I'm still searching for the game. I've not seen it started yet, so...
So the tiebreaker will be a Hanwha on which map?
Well, it looked like it was Ghost Lake, but
can't imagine that. I know. I should definitely not pick Ghost Lake. I just assume it's Arabia for now.
I'm just waiting to see if this game shows. I can't see it yet. I don't know about if you're any different there. If you've got
I'm
the game
trying now
working,
since I've finished fixing my stuff. So you think your Kasva's Huns are really strong, right? Did he train them with Cordolan? I assume that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. All I know is I played his Huns initially, and he felt like he was very turtled when I first started to play him. He didn't really seem to expand a lot. He kind of just waited for trades, and there wasn't really anything to note in the games other than his survival. His survival was really, really good in the games, but he's just seems like to me he's got better and better and better when it comes to Huns, and so I don't know. Be an interesting one.
I'm in it. I found it.
Okay.
I'm at 2 seconds.
I've got the game code. So yeah, you just sent it to me. So thanks for that.
I didn't want to interrupt you and tell you somehow that I found the game, so I sent you the code.
It's okay.
Front gold here for Improvise and stone next to it. That looks kind of iffy.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm at two seconds. So you want to unpause?
3, 2, 1. Let's go into the tie-breaking game. Hanwha on Arabia. Yeah, we have a little bit of hill in the middle there to the left, not controlling too much, and then a hill system that can endanger the other goals of Improvise a bit to the right.
So, what's your opening thoughts on the map, first of all? Any ideas? What do you think?
I already said them, right? Like, Improvise needs to like secure his right side and his front. Maybe he should try to get that middle hill.
Well, I feel like
this.
I feel like if I was to compare it based on who I think's got the slightly nicer map, I think for me it falls to Improvise, as long as he doesn't lose that hill. Loses that hill, loses the main gold, could be dangerous. But I think, generally speaking, relic placement, gold placement, everything looks like it could be quite nice to Improvise.
Yeah, that's true. He has like the neutral goals are closer to him as well. At least like the main resources are safer for Kasva, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that resource placement is quite tight for Kasva. Looks like he could, you know, grab those early, but
losing a lot of villagers. Maybe the map doesn't matter too much. 6 to 9 already.
Yeah.
And the Tarkin streaming in. Maybe we have a 5-minute game, so we should focus on the World Snipes. Don't know if the relics will matter here. Military count is pretty similar though, and I mean at least we got 7 buildings up.
Yeah, Kasva's just literally equalized it.
But the building amount, look at that. Like, Improvise already finished his build order. And Kasva...
I was gonna say equalized. How did he fall so many...
It's 4 to 7 right now. I don't think 4 equals 7. There's one pattern still running around the base there for Improvise, for Kasva and Improvise base, but it does get dealt with, and it was already getting cast laps. Anybody going for market? Oh yeah, Improvise was, but it stopped at... Oh no, it isn't stopped, the village is just hiding behind the archery range. So Improvise also getting market. Yeah, I feel like this might not be the long game.
I feel like this could be quite decisive for Improvise at this moment.
92-70
but like I say,
should get that hill now. Actually prioritizing the hill to the right with the castle. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's fine. As long as he gets it. I think it's very easily denied. I think that Kasva actually has the slight better... Well, he looked like he had the slight better opener. I wasn't too sure about his attack there. He kind of split his paladins off behind Improvise's army, and now he's fighting uphill. So, I don't know. I feel like this is still absolutely fine for Improvise at this moment, although paladin numbers seems to be lessening at the moment, and potentially the hill's going to go to Kasva here.
Maybe that was even a nice move to like go through them with the paladins. I think Kasva was trying to get the hill advantage for himself, or at least not fight against the hill with his paladins.
Well, one interesting thing is, as I say, Kasva's survivability, but look at the gold still banked for a moment there. Actually, Kasva's just used it, but it was up at about 3.2k. So actually, a lot of those resources weren't being used. I think in an opener like this, you need those resources into the units and get them onto the map for as quickly as you can, really.
Yeah, he was so villager picked, right? I mean, there was like 12 buildings up at the point where Kasva had 5. That should explain the way higher military numbers that we're still seeing, even though after the first fight wasn't too great. Is that hill higher on Kasva's side? No, I think it's the same level, right? And that castle will not get up.
Same level, yeah.
Where's Kasva just standing? They're kind of like in a little hole in the middle of the hill. Okay, now he went up the hill again.
I mean, this is just as per what I thought, which is that Improvise just needs to get to that hill. It's slightly closer than it is for him than it is for Kasva.
Yeah. Also, there's a wood line for Kasva, a bit annoying.
Yep. And I feel like do we know who got the market actually? Was it Kasva?
Improvise got it, I think.
Improvise, yeah. I feel like this looks very comfortable for Improvise. He's...
actually, they both have kind of similar 2.5k gold. Maybe they shared it.
There's not really much in the way of map control for Kasva at this moment in time. He's kind of getting those golds as he needs to, but he's trailing by 1 gold.
Is Improvise really controlling those 2 golds? So he has mining camps there.
Well, they're not contested, so he's still getting the gold from them. Better to get something than nothing, I suppose.
Yeah, with like 2 villagers, with 1.
Well,
but he got this
really
castle up in the
make...
middle, and he will kill the castle from Kasva, so then he can take over that hill. Numbers are
me,
55 to... Oh, sorry, to 35. Take it away.
No, that's okay. I just think for Kasva here, one of his biggest weaknesses when playing Huns is the fact that he sometimes does close up. You know, I was saying about him turtling sometimes when he plays Huns. I feel like this might be an example of that. You know, he could definitely have contested those golds on the left and the right, and potentially boxed him down to just 3 golds, improvised down to 3 golds, and then from there he could have just potentially sat on the hill and made it very difficult for Improvise to push him whilst he just stabilized his economy and then hit back. So I feel like that's potentially what's going to decide this game, is the fact of the resources.
Kasva is kind of an interesting breed, right? Because in a lot of the matches we've seen so far in the qualifier was like kind of RMer versus DMer, as you would assume here too. The like Kasva has way better stats than the other RMers if we compare him, but actually the DMer is getting to the map control quicker, which is something we saw a lot the other way around where it was RM versus DM.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this map is definitely one that slipped slightly into Improvise's favor, but I feel like in this particular instance, yeah, as a deathmatch player, as Improvise is out and out, he's just been able to sweep and pick up those golds. And I think that maybe if this was another RMer, maybe if we were watching maybe someone like, I don't know, maybe even Miguel, Winchester, or if we were watching
Winchester
someone like...
very well on that.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe even, you know, even if we were watching someone like ACCM, I think they probably would have been a little bit more aware to take those side golds and try and be a bit more annoying. So this turtle play seems to be quite signature to Kasva at the moment.
And Improvise is also doing really well with the map control. I mean, even in the Ghost Lake games, he sometimes, like in the first one, he took map control at a place where it wasn't really necessary. But his mindset is like, I have to make the map my color, right?
Well, I feel like what might be going through Kasva's head here is he's got very good army control. It's partly what I think makes him very, very good at survival.
Yeah.
But you can't win games that way when the gold slips into the favor of the enemy. Like, at the end of the day, it's just math, right? If one player is
ecoing much here. I mean, look at the food and wood count.
It's very intensely on the military fight, and I think that is something that probably plagued a lot of early deathmatch players in their earlier career. Is, you know, focusing too much on one thing and not spreading out your time across other elements of the game like map control.
Yeah, I feel like Kasva's not playing like as the other RMers that are coming over doing that didn't practice much. He did practice a lot compared to like people like ACCM, Bacti, for example, who I don't think practiced at all really. At least from looking at the games. And that makes him more like a beginner DMer who's very, 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 very good at certain things. But the mindset is more like somebody starting to play DM than an RMer just figuring it out on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes map control is kind of given to you automatically because, you know, you just get off to a good start. You've got them under pressure. You can start to put map placement down. You know, like I've had instances of games where one game, I'm just everywhere, and then I play another game, and someone just puts a lot of pressure out on me, and suddenly I'm turtling and I'm under pressure. I think there is always a danger when you get into that kind of mode that, irrespective of how good your mechanics are when it comes to military control, if you are very focused on one element, if your enemy is basically pressuring you into just focusing on one thing, and you forget about the other elements, then it doesn't matter how hard you play in that moment, eventually the outcome's always going to be the same.
Kasva was looking to go for the gold now, but there's 2 castles already there, so he lost quite a few Kavaches. Does somewhat hold this dangerously looking push there for his 1 relic. So I assume the other relics are with Improvise has 3, and there's 1 still in the back that Kasva should get, so 3-2. But it's Hans, so it's anyways 50% less.
I assume that Improvise just felt, because I felt like maybe we won't see the hunt, but we have seen it. So maybe Improvise just said, well, I still feel pretty comfortable with the Civ, so I'm happy to play this, and he's playing it very nicely here.
Kasva still now he's getting farms finally. But I feel like he's got wood choppers now, 60 wood choppers.
Yep.
How's Improvise eco looking? Well, pretty balanced. 120 villagers might be a bit too much for Hanwha Arabia.
I feel like the game could be closed off here very soon. Just put that out there. I don't know if there's much fight left in Kasva looking at his economy. If you look at numbers, he's low on food. Just 21 farmers, and very
against the hill.
Look at the gold advantage for him.
What? Oh god, he's going for a kill.
Have you seen the amount of gold he just had?
He had 6,000.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's cute units. I thought he was aiming for the 10k.
Yeah, in a tournament game, aiming for 10k. Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's what Kellen did in Horse Wars.
Yeah.
Which made him lose 2 coming.
Yeah, I think there's always the argument of being too, if you could just build, like 100 paladins in that moment, you could probably just crush your enemy there and then. But there's always that argument of, do you want to do that? Because if you spend everything, you potentially have lost your advantage. If 10k gold is the thing you're sitting on as your main lead.
Kasva's still feeling confident. He's going with the outpost rush here to the left. I don't think this is a 105 moment, Kasva. At least not for you. He was just trying to see what's over there.
Too much turtle play in this game for me, I think, from Kasva. Didn't really get to see him at his best for Hans here, but again, like you say, Improvise played a good game.
Yeah, Improvise played this really well. And, I mean, at least we're not seeing the freaking anti-walls from Kasva, right?
That's true.
No train tracks to the main event. Yeah, this is over. The Talents are also whooping in for the farming eco now. And nothing in the bank. I guess we could put up another castle. We're actually doing that. Oh, did he sell the stone? What happened to that stone? He had 700 stone.
Let me just have a quick
I think look. He sold it.
Maybe he sold it. Yeah, you can easily panic in these moments and think, if I'm basically running on empty. Sometimes you can end up selling, kind of selling your soul of any last bits of resources just in that last dive push to see if you can get some kind of breathing room. But there's no breathing room going to be afforded. And he must, this is the thing, when you have 5 golds to 3, it doesn't matter how many relics you've got in this moment. Unless you really manage to somehow be lucky enough to drag it to a long game and then slowly, piece by piece, do something, the game's it's always going to default to this.
I mean, he still has his Sky Watchers up, and he's putting a good fight here, but... I mean, respect to them, they didn't GG early in this series, which is something that I actually applaud. As opposed to Greek TV, where they always want you to GG. That's not what we are here.
I think that there is an element of tactical decision-making in not resigning too soon. I think a lot of players in tournaments, myself included in some of them in the past, resigning too quickly when you think, oh, the first sign of I think I'm going to lose, I'm going to quit. But actually, even if you're going to end up losing, you're still, playing a long game. You're trying to kind of almost empty the tank of stamina from the other player. Because I mean, if they're too comfortable, sure, they're probably not exhausting anything. But if you're giving them a run for their money, even if you're going to end up still losing the game, it can still be a good tactical play,
Yeah, it's actually also something towards that direction that Helen told me for Rising Star. Especially if it's a game 1, even if you're killing using, play 10 minutes longer, just play a bit casually to get into it.
I think there is there is always an argument for playing the game too long, where for a caster it can get very, you know, like watching patrols.
You can't
coming in from
specifically address that, Seth. You're playing to win. You're not playing for the casters. You're playing the game. You shouldn't think about the casters at all.
But yeah, sometimes I probably the longest game that I saw where it started to become a bit like watching paint dry was a very long Persians war that I watched between Kellen, aka Quendy True, versus Daywalker, Dan Hughes. And that was a very boring game to watch because it got to the very latter moments of the game. And a lot of it just boiled down to relics, but it was just kind of like just waiting for the other player to eventually call the GG.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot with casting games.
It does, but you know, ultimately, there's a reason for doing it, and that's just trying to wear the stamina out you play. But then again, like someone like, yeah, I probably would say someone like Quendy True, for example. You know, very, very good, happy to play the long game. Same as someone like Frost9. Whereas for me, sometimes you're just there like, oh, you know, you just want the game to be over. So yeah, it depends on your patience, I think.
Kasva has the patience, and I think Improvise has it too here.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to comment on here. I think it's out and out GG, right?
Yeah.
Although surprisingly, Improvise actually used up all of his gold. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, he still has a lot of Kamachas in the queue. Not that many though. It's like 15. And there we have the GG.
Yeah, it's the GG. And you got a comment there from Upside, just asking a question. So if you want to answer that.
What civ is good against Huns? Well, I think Goth is good against Huns, but... Oh yeah, in main event we don't have only mirror matchups, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So it's actually something I usually never think about, which civ is good against what civ.
Because you just
Because I always do mirror, like 100%. And... That's why I don't have too much knowledge about that. Like, besides, like, team games, of course, we did some research for, like, Winter's War and stuff, but... for 1v1s, it's really nothing I thought about much, and I obviously didn't think about too much what I'm going to do in the main event. And only thought about the qualifiers.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, actually. I think... You know, with Huns, they don't have the siege, right? So once you exhaust their gold army, anything that counters paladins, carry archers,
Slavs
and
probably
Tarkans,
great.
I guess. Yeah, Slavs
would be the ultimate counter, probably.
Yeah, as long as Slavs, because there's no house need, right? So, I was just looking at the statistics, by the way, from that last game. Top heavy on food, wood, stone, gold, everything in Improviser's favor, and relics too, 3-2. So yeah, very
and an amazing KD.
Yeah, an amazing KD with a 250-ish lead, just shy of. So yeah,
I have to go for a really quick break before the next game. I'll be back in a minute. I'll leave you and the chat to theorizing about civ matchups. That's fine.
I can talk. Yeah, if I can answer any questions if anyone's got any in the chat. I'm just waiting for this next game. Probably hearing my mouse click in the background. I don't know if my microphone's picking that up. That's just me frantically seeing if another game has started. Doesn't look like yet anything has started. I'm just gonna see if they are waiting in the lobby. Possibly started. I can't see a lobby game. But very interesting here. Improvise is now leading 3-2. I don't know what everyone else's prediction of this will be. Very close series at the moment.
All right, I'm back. Do we know what's the next game yet?
Not yet. I've been just scouting, and I can't see anything launched yet. I can't see any lobby games either. So, don't know. Down to you. See if you can see anything different to what I can see.
I see on Kasva stream they're in a lobby, but they're still on Hans Arabia.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. It's a set map. We actually know what it is. It is Persians on Arabia.
Of course we do.
You just talked about an age-long Persian one, so.
Oh my gosh.
It fits.
Yeah, you're right. I must admit, I wasn't even thinking in that moment. You're right.
So we can write that here down. That improvise, that one could go for improvise. So it's improvise's match point now.
Match point. Yeah.
What do you think? How these players fare? What do you think? Who could win a Persian war on Arabia here?
For me, this probably goes to improvise. Simply because I think we've seen some of the decision making from improvise, which has been a bit questionable at times. But we've also seen Kasva's turtle style. We've seen his aggression, but we've seen it more in kind of a Viking come Inca kind of matchup. And I feel like when it comes to gold, kind of quite orientated golden food. I mean, Persian still has its own quite heavy gold usage. So monks, if you choose them, scorpions, elephants as well. You could even open with paladins too. So for me, I think that this composition is not going to be questioned by improvise. He knows Persians, surely. So I feel like I'm going to give it to improvise because I think we might see Kasva do a similar turtle style.
I would actually give it the advantage to Kasva.
Ooh, interesting.
And I would say that, like, you can. I mean, my experience is a bit less than yours, obviously, but you could like give up map control and make that one big army with like elephants, scorpions, and rams, and just try to roll the opponent. And with Kasva's map control, army control, that might work.
Possibly. I think we've also seen though in the Goss game where Kasva just didn't get his economy moving, and Persian's war is going to be notoriously economy based. So
that's a really good point.
I think if Kasva can get the early lead, have a nicer map, and just push improvise into pressured kind of modes, we might see some of these questionable game decisions that he's made.
We can analyze the map. I'm in it.
But interesting. Thank you for sending me the code, because I don't know why mine always is like 7 steps behind getting these games.
There's some form of a hill ridge in the middle controlling. Ooh. Kasva needs to get that one. Controlling his main gold, one of his stones, and a relic. And a big hill to the right that could kind of danger improvise resources, but he should be able to get that hill. And the other one is pretty in the middle. It's a bit closer to Kasva, but he has to get that one. And well, whose gold pile is that on the left hill there?
This is the. Oh, if you're looking at blue, is this? Oh, that's questionable. Let's get into the game because I'm ready to go, and then we can discuss the map.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Welcome to Game 6, match point for Improvise to make it into Deathmatch World Cup 4 main event. Take it away, Katie.
Ooh, okay. So we've got a front gold for Kasva potentially leading into a hill. That hill's going to be pretty easily grabbed by Kasva, I suspect. So I don't really see him getting under pressure in that part of the map, as long as he doesn't lose it. If he loses it, then that would put him into a world of trouble.
Maybe.
Sorry?
Depends on the rush, maybe, as I see him losing a villager and might even lose 2, and then it will be hard to get there. Okay, he won't lose 2.
Yeah, you don't want
He will lose 2! He will lose 2! He sent the big villager out again! No way!
Ouch. That is going to put him into a world of hurt. Okay, so assuming that he hadn't lost those villagers, on the right-hand side, you can see that there's a lot of hills that cluster into gold. That's where Improvise is going to equalize in terms of map advantage, and loads of relics his side too. So for me, I still think Improvise, but now with 2 Vil picks as well, I think, yeah, this is probably Improvise. Going to have a nice advantage with the lead here.
One camel and then paladin opening. And... oh, archery ranges, what?
We got a Vil kill, so actually it's only 1 Vil behind now.
Why is Improvise making an archery range? I've never seen that in Persian War before.
I think he's probably thinking to snipe Vills, but
Kill early
gonna,
after I kill 2 Vills, maybe? Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought it was going to take him too long, but to be honest with you, Kasva's not actually got any castles down whatsoever because he castles coming up from Improvise, and castles aren't always like game-changing in Persian War. If you get a nice push off the bat with, you know, Paladins and Halberdiers, for example, as Kasva's doing here, which is quite a popular start for even someone like Kellen, then actually it can, with enough pressure, it can kind of make elephants less dangerous. But when you've got this
Rex?
kind of...
I know like 4-4, but 4-6 seems a bit too many Rex to me.
look at the villager difference though. 7 to 12. You know, this is gonna be hard for Kasva. Really hard.
And I mean, once the Scorpions are out, Halberdiers aren't the greatest units anymore.
Yep, that's the thing. I think this kind of opener for Kasva is not the one you'd want to pick. Because there's no... It's not like it's leading into a hill that's like overshadowing Improvise's base. Had that been the case, I can see why he might choose to go for this build order. But, nah, for me,
maybe he thought like I lost Vills early, so I really need to get my hill to even stay in the game, and that's why I need a lot of helps to get that hill.
No,
I think he laid them down before that. I don't think it was a reaction really. But he's doing some really nice raids in the back of Improvise's base. Look at that. 2 TCs denied, 2 villages going down. Skirmishers won't help anything.
But the thing is, there are no Scorpions from Kasva in this moment, and I feel like once those Scorpions get out from Improvise, you can see the score dips quite dramatically for Improvise, but that's only because elephants are so expensive when they're queued. It drops your score down, and then as soon as they pumped out, your score just goes through the roof. So yeah, I think that's not really a way to look at the game.
At least Kasva got the villager count plus now. He turned it on its head, but Improvise is looking to secure the right side hills we talked about. Getting 1 cast and potentially also trying to control that other neutral gold there to the left, and putting a TC on the neutral gold in the top hill. So map control once again very good for Improvise.
Yep, and you can see a questionable castle placement from Kasva in the south. Possibly would have been better where that cavalry archer is, just for a little bit extra damage by being on the hill. You can see, look at this press in now for patrol. Like, I feel like Improvise could literally shut the game down just by patrolling elephants and scorpions in. A couple of rams thrown in, maybe some BBC, a few trebs, and GG.
Mainly working on ram, scorpions, and elephants only now. Well, at least we have 2 castles in the way, but castles don't seem as strong in Persians because these elephants are so tanky. And plus we're gonna see a lot of rams.
Yeah, I don't know. Kasva trying to get around the map, do something a little bit spicy with a few Vill kills, but like, you know, you lose your front though like this, you lose that hill, it's GG.
And he's queued so many Halberdiers, like he's so Halberdier heavy. It isn't even that many Scorpions. It's only 14 Scorpions, but they're like eating them all for breakfast.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't feel like, if you look at the economy of Improvise, sure, he looks lacking, but look at Kasva. Kasva 50, less than 50.
And he's losing to these 2 Cav archers, so Cav archers did pay out, killed like 5-6 Vills there.
We had a skirmisher thrown in there from Improvise, which was interesting, but I must admit, one thing that I will say for Kasva is he has actually managed to slow down Improvise's... Yeah. So, the thing is, though, if Kasva had some kind of early economy in that left-hand corner there, looks perfect, by the way, for economy. Lovely, really easy to defend from there, looks like. But I feel like it's probably a little bit too lacking. I don't feel like Improvise can't defend, so...
Kasva still queued up like 40 Halberdiers and he's out of food. DQ those, man! Like, Halberdiers aren't doing anything in Persian's War past minute 15. I mean, maybe on the sides, but definitely not in the middle, in my opinion. Like, if there's still Scorpions around, but there will kind of always be Scorpions around, if played right.
Improvise needs to make sure that he doesn't make a critical mistake here. He just needs to sit still. As long as he sits still, he's fine. If he moves, he's dead. That's my opinion.
Yeah, He can, but I think he's staying back and messing up that big Death Ball army that I talked about.
But please don't press in. Don't press in.
Yeah, he will. He will.
Just
he will.
Still.
Best of 7 indeed, Omen. Welcome,
You
Omen.
say that now. I don't know. I feel like this could be. This is best of 7, right?
It is best of 7, yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. So sorry, someone just asked it in the chat, and I was just doubting myself for a split second. Yes, it's the best of 7. So this is 3-2, of course, lead for Improvise. And please don't press in here. I really feel like this could be a bad trade for Improvise in this moment if he pushes in.
I want to see a game
Kasva
7, so I'm not against
time.
him pushing in there.
No, he's got a few idle bills, but I just.
Okay, he's backing off. He's backing off, but that was quite some losses. He's trying to drag Kasva off that hill, but the Scorpions are still firing from the hill.
In that moment, oh no! Don't do this, Improvise. Don't do it. I feel like this is a bad fight for Improvise. Really, I do. I feel like this is much better for Kasva in this moment, and I feel like he's going to scoop up those Scorpions, and if he scoops them up, oh, Improvise is going to be in a tough spot. He shouldn't have moved. Just stay still. Just stay still.
There goes that army. He should have listened to you.
Yep. I don't think he can hear me from all the way over here, but...
hopefully not. Hopefully not.
No. All he had to do... The thing is, the reason he needed to sit still is because he needed to recover his economy, and he didn't have the tidiest defensive spot. He's got no hill to fall back to, unlike Kasva. So staying still, waiting for him to push in, trying to make it more difficult for him, rather than pushing in, then running your army back and wasting half of your elephants.
Yeah, Kasva went up to 45 farmers to... I'm saying 2, but he has way more farmers than Improvise actually. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at this left-hand side. Look how defensible that left-hand side is for economy.
Also
like,
putting up
Kasva...
the castle on the big hill, so nobody can get through there.
Kind of played out. Yeah, kind of played out like Goth. You know, you do need a bit more gold from Persian, but actually you can survive on less as long as you can keep your army alive and you can mass up that economy. You know, you can potentially raid with Hazard if you need to, but obviously elephants as well, quite cheap in terms of golden requirement.
Do you know how this game played out, Kitty?
Sorry, say again?
Do you know how this game played out, Kitty? Exactly as I predicted.
Yeah, it did. I really felt like Improvise had really nice unit composition. Okay, he overextended a little bit by hitting into that hill, and he probably should have capped. You see, there's that like little bit of hill spot just above where the hills are. You see where
hill
the
spots above where the hills are. I think I found it.
Yeah, sorry.
The description was funny, but I did find it.
Yeah, so where the barracks are. So had he capped that and kind of just sat there a little bit and given himself that 25% damage bonus from there, then that could have been something. I think just staying on the flat and overextending in the beginning onto that hill probably was a bad move. And yeah, Improvise has paid for it.
And he's losing his farms now. To the reps.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, now they're working on the siege workshop. Some elephants still coming out, and we have 40 farmers now for Improvise. Oh, only 39? Oh no, 53 for Kasva, never mind. I failed to switch perspective there. Sneaky Eco down the south, adding farms there instead of going to the Golden Stone.
Yeah, well, I guess he needs it in this moment, right?
Yeah, he does, he has enough gold, and he does have stone for another castle at least.
The thing is, you always are in a position of like freaking out when most of your economy is in the firing line. I mean, look here. Like how many villages would he scoop? Like what? 22 villages, potentially 20 on villages, straight away dead and that's half. That represents half of this economy. You know, one little raid, one little push out to the right-hand side, take down that castle, take down the rest of the economy. GG. So for Kasva, for me, this is just Kasva's game in the bag. 100%, in my opinion.
He's taking a sweet time there. Maybe could add his second trap, but I like that he's keeping the army around the trap, not overextending him.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like it was very equal. This map is very equal as long as Improvise had taken those hill placements on the southern point there. You can see where he's got those 2 castles on the hills. That's all he needed to do. Just sit tight, wait for his economy to mass out. He's got very defensible places for economy, potentially in that sort of right-hand side of the map, where he could have taken advantage of farms there. But I think he was a little bit too confident, placed his economy where he was because he was going to push into him, and it backfired.
And also it also comes down to Kasva's nice rates to get him back on like the economy development, losing those villages early and then raiding everywhere and getting the better will number actually by those raids than for adding economy, not for the production stage, but he managed to survive that. And then, yeah, he had enough to get his eco up quicker and obviously like take a really great fight there. And I think now he might close it out here.
You're right. I think I probably judged Kasva a little bit too much when I said about him doing something spicy. I really felt like if he lost that main fight in the middle, that could be it. GG, take that hill, gets into his main goal, that's it, game over. But actually, like you say, Kasva did a great job taking out economy in the upper part of the map. That really slowed him down, and it meant that once he'd overextended, he had no fallback economy-wise. Not really, not in the way he would have wanted.
That's what happened. Another castle's gonna fall here now. Bombard cannon being hunted down by an elephant, but I think it actually survives. Yes, it does. And now, now all those farms are open there. Where are the farms? Okay, there's still some towards like the right, and I guess a new farming economy down south. To be fair, it's still 56 farms for Improvise, so.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see him coming back from this. That is too much on the rocks, that economy. Completely uncontested. Like, literally, it's sunshine and, you know, soft drinks for Kasva's economy right now.
It's so hard in Persians. I feel like in Persians, if once there's this army mass, like, even if you have, like, castles in the way, it takes a bit longer. I always feel like I'm trying to remaster and everything, but it's super hard in Persian war, I feel.
It's all down to those big fights, you know. Seen a lot of games with where the code plays Persians, especially in the past, and you know he's not shy to sit on a hill with a massive army of elephants and scorpions, if that's what it boils down to, and you know it can be won or lost in those hill pushes.
Yeah, we have the game-ending fight here now. There was good alpha numbers for Improvise, and he's actually taking out Kasva's elephants. But they should still die to the scorpions. They are, but there's another pocket coming from the south. This is Improvise's last attempt to fight. It's actually going better than I thought, but I think Kasva's still gonna win it.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's no contesting here. It's also taking out that BBC, which is the only thing that really posed any threat there to the scorpions. The rest of them one by one. Elephant's trying to retreat in some ways and attack in others. Nah, it's for me this is the deciding moment of the game.
Yeah, I feel like we get a full game series here.
Yeah, full game series. I feel like Improvise still had a chance they could have done something with these castles on top of those hills. Could have pushed into the kind of bottom right-hand side of Kasva's base, maybe making some momentum there. And as well, sometimes when you've got such momentum from the other player, you kind of want to distract them, do something else. I feel like Improvise, once he lost that kind of main fight, he was just pushed into a reactional kind of trade of his army versus
the Exodus. The Exodus is coming.
This is the Exodus indeed.
And AR12 saying it's such a shame to rarely see more elephants in DM. Yeah, I think it's a like legitimate reason to play or cast DM that you get to make all these. A Brazilian set at once. And when you play DM, you get to make all these nice units that you never get to in RM.
Yeah, 100%. RM is like, you know, I think it's kind of almost
always
wasteful.
Knights and crossbows, so that's it.
Yeah, I think with elephants, it's just wasteful, isn't it? You know, investing into something where actually by like the end, that's the nice thing about DM, right? You get to the end game, you get to the Imperial, but everything's still on the map fresh. You know, you got all the gold, you got all the stone, everything's there. Whereas in RM, you know, most of it's already been used to upgrade everything. So actually, when you come to the big wars, the big fights, they're not really there, which is nice. I kind of like the RM is designed that way, because I think if it wasn't, then and you know a lot more was kind of late game orientated, then that would probably take the rub slightly off of what is so entertaining for me anyway.
Kasva with the get out of my game castles here all over Improvise's space. Improvise going for monks now. He has 7 monks, so maybe he can bring it back with the power of faith.
Oh well, no.
Do Persians get faith? Actually, they don't get heresy, yeah, but I'm not sure if they get faith.
Let me have a look. I will tell you.
They do. Okay.
No, you've already. Wow, you sourced that quickly then. Yeah,
Sorry.
You had some inside knowledge.
So Improvise can have some faith here because Persians have faith, but I'm not sure if we still have faith.
No, I think we're running out of it very quickly for Improvise in this moment. And to be honest with you, I side with you. Actually, it's kind of nice that this is concluding for this game at 3-3, because we get one more and then it's match point for either player, right? So that's a place you always want to be in when you're spectating.
Absolutely. He did manage to get a few conversions there, but his 4 relics are out. That will take a hurt on his fate. I'm known for taking jokes too far, so bear with me. Yeah, adding a house there. I was expecting a new monastery. That's
this is probably holding on. Sorry, say again?
Say again. No, never mind. You go.
I was saying this is probably holding on needlessly. 4 relics just popped there for Improvise, and yeah, I feel like he's probably just trying to make this game last as long as possible. Maybe he's had some similar advice. Just keep the game going, try and wear your opponent down a little bit, but pretty easy pickings at this moment in time for Kasva.
I mean, he's done a great job. Like, it's not gonna win him the game, but he's done a great job at like maintaining close to 50 farms through the process of losing his whole base.
Yep.
I mean, even though it's... Actually, he's gonna win this fight here.
He'll win it, but it's not really gonna do much. I mean, look at the economy in general for Kasva. I mean, he's seen on quite a few vills.
I want to see elephants, not economy. I'm sorry. It's actually not gonna win the fight, sadly.
The economy is definitely gonna lead to the army, right? So I think from that is definitely birthed a lot of paladins we're seeing now as well. Maybe just for those vill picks and maybe just trying to knock out.
I like the paladins to finish the game. Just like kill all the villagers and it's done deal. Yeah, and there we go.
That's
Game 7. 3-3.
Well, at least we didn't have to watch a very, very painfully long Persian War.
Only 40 minutes. It was really nice to watch. I mean, who doesn't love seeing war elephants go at each other?
That's true. That is true. It's when you get to the point where there's no war elephants left because they're so expensive to put on the map that you start seeing other things roaming in the field, like halbs and stuff.
Yeah, I had Persian Wars where it went down to like the opponent I think had 4 relics and I had like just fully popped halberdiers and hussars. Eventually waiting for me having more wood control and killing spells.
Yeah, wood control is kind of the thing, isn't it? Once you get into a certain point of the game, it's the way to try and win, especially when relic advantage is tipped in the enemy's favor, is to try and think about those wood lines. Certainly that's what it came down to in the game 1 for me against Improvise. Was that there was a potential that he could tip it the other way because he had the relic advantage. So I started to kind of bet in thinking about wood in that moment, and that's kind of the way it can switch sometimes.
I actually have to get some water. I'll be break again.
No worries. Perfect. I'll be right here. So, final game of the series. This will be interesting. What is the best DM civ? The best DM civ. I think there's that's probably open to debate. Slav is definitely one of the better civs, I would say, even with their little nerf. They're still very strong. I don't know, it depends. It can, if you've got a civ that can bed in for a long period and build up to almost like unconquerable levels, then certain civs can ride over others. But you can get some out. Get some fast civs that can just burst down potentially better civs in the long haul. I think sometimes for me, like when you watch like Michi games of old,
I'm back.
sometimes hey,
And we have game 7. I'll send you the code.
yeah. Ah, thank you. I think I was just saying there. Sometimes if you watch Michi games of old, where you get like certain deathmatch civs, like civs obviously, but played out in deathmatch, sometimes you get to see a little bit more about where their capabilities lie in the long games. Because was asked what is the best civ in, and I think it's difficult to say. Very much depends on a few things, but I was saying Slabs is probably up there as one of them.
I hope to dodge the question and give it to you. Yeah, Slabs, Franks are probably what comes. I don't know if Franks anymore. They lost Treadmill Crane.
Well, yeah, well, that was same with the nerf. They nerfed a few, didn't they, in terms of treadmill. So I'm at 3 seconds.
And I'm at 2. We have game 7. Everybody spam some hype emotes for a game 7 in a decider. This game will decide Improvise or Kasva who will go to Deathmatch World Cup main event. 3, 2, 1. Let's go in.
Go.
Take it away, Mr. KD.
Ooh, okay. So this is on Mongols War, and I would say that Improvise needs to be a little bit careful. He's got a few forward golds, but he's got some nice hills there, so he can become pretty defensible. Lots of gold, as you can see on the upper sort of part of the map, straying down that right-hand side into the right-hand corner. Seems to be that way sometimes on these Serengeti maps. It seems to cluster on one side more than another. So he kind of needs to trend his army that way. Some nice hill points as well that he can grab along the way, and generally just needs to make himself nicely defensible, a few raids, and I think he's probably got the nicer of the map. However, I would say Kasva here, very nice kind of opener for him, potentially on the flat. Could potentially deny a few vills in the opening rushes here. But let's just see. I guess it depends on what Improvise and what Kasva can do with these camels right off the bat. You?
6 stables for Kasva, and I find his base quite annoying. Like in Serengeti, you sometimes have this, like, he doesn't really have too much room to build there with these stupid trees around his base. So it looks a little bit better for Improvise. And same on Ghost Lake, you can get these valley bases that are super hard to build on. Actually, we saw that yesterday with Spring having a better map in that respect than Cameron. But let's focus on this game here. Let's see what the rush can do. Looking good. 2 Vil picks already. Or 2 villages ahead.
Yeah, Kasva in a nice spot here with the 2 Vil lead. Potentially one more as well, maybe, or...
He just got 2 on the castle on the other side, though.
Oh, yeah, he got another one. There. I think, did he get another one there?
Kasva lost 2 to Improvise on the front castle.
Yeah, but to be fair, Kasva's going to go to 10 now, still a 2 Vil lead.
Improvise is heavily housed here. 45 out of 45 for a short moment, even.
Yeah, he needs these. He needs these castles up. Actually, that little bit of pop waiting for the houses, that can really hurt you. Yeah. With Kasva not capped up to 65. So actually, I kind of feel like Kasva's got the nicer of the 2 openers. I still feel like Improvise has potentially got the better of the map if he manages to sweep out from, as I say, that position that he's in, up onto those hills, defend. Yeah, to be honest with you, just to say, Kasva could take those northern golds just as easily.
We see the pikemen being mixed in from Improvise. Okay, it's only 2 rare barracks. What do you think about mixing in pikemen? Because it seems like a newer invention to me.
I think in Mongols doesn't make sense. I think in something like Saracens, it can be really nice. But in Mongols, I think that, with a decent amount of micro, and Mangadai being what they are, I don't see it being really that worrying.
Improvise also took the market. I would expect it like the pikemen from the anti-market player, if any. But Improvise took 1.8k gold from the market here. While Kasva's taking the map for once.
Yeah, I think Kasva is in a really nice position with those castles. and he's actually blocking Improvise's main advantage, which is what I was saying. If Improvise can just sweep to the right, along the top, take those upper golds, he's in a nice spot. And he might still deny the villagers here. He looks like he's going to push in with a Mangadai. I think he's going to try and snipe them off, stop that castle. That's all he needs to do. Just stop that castle. Yeah. And he should be fine. Yeah.
It's a really weird map that there's like no gold in the south and everything's to the north. Normally it's more balanced on both sides. Oh, that was close though. What? 99%? 94.
94. If Kasva had enough military numbers to down that castle, get it up and sit on that hill, on just behind, I think he would have put Improvise into a world of hurt.
He was even looking to double castle that hill. There's another foundation next to it.
Yeah, I feel like Kasva maybe is lacking in Mangadai numbers as well. For where
Did
maybe
he overmake Camels?
Possibly, yeah. He's going more Hazard now. You see some early relic picks from Improvise as well. I don't know. I feel like
Improvise has a lot of camels too, but he got the market, so he can afford some more camels plus Mangadai. And now also taking that right side there, controlling the relic. Yeah, maybe that castle was actually a decisive moment, like sniping those two trees for the game, and that means the series. Well, let's see. So auto 5-4.
Yeah, I think Improvise is playing this game exactly how I thought he should, and I kind of focused on him more at the beginning because I felt like he had more of the direct route to the winning condition, whereas I feel like Kasva's, like you say, a bit more boxed in with those trees. Kind of needed to make something of the opener. And needs to get that castle up. Didn't. I mean, look,
why is Improvise taking this fight though? Like, he's fighting with like, okay, now he stopped hitting on that castle. He should get the ramps to that castle. Oh god, the castle might go up.
No way.
He sent 6 villagers there.
Yeah. He wants to, but the rams will dispatch it.
It will go up and it will go down.
Yeah. Well, the camels were beating on it for too long.
Oh, he's stopping the other castle from getting up. No, focus one more time. There's one more villager. He did it. And that castle's at like 89% now. But it will go up because Improvise has the hill back. Sorry for getting a bit excited here, but it's a game 7 after all. I have to scream a bit.
Game 7. There was a nice onager shot actually from Improvise there onto the Mangadai of Kasva. A lot of them running in there, and they're lower hit points, but then same for Improvise really. They're about the same, just a bit more camel top heavy for Kasva.
Looks even lower on the hit points for Improvise actually. Like, I don't know if looking at it says much because they're all like patrolling into each other, but.
So you can see Kasva is trying to add a bit more game awareness, map awareness, sorry, for this this game. He's sweeping around to the right. I think that's the right thing to do, but I don't know if he's going to catch himself out here against onagers. I always find this is really dangerous when you run a pack of Mangadai in like this, because if you get trapped,
don't want to lose those.
You don't want to lose those. And look how undefensible he is.
Yeah, now he doesn't have anything to stop those rams. I mean, he has 2 SO, but they're going to be snuffed out by the cavalry here. And he has to bring those home. Yeah, I mean, he just killed a few villagers. I don't think that was worth it. Now he's going to lose the front of his base with that castle there. Pretty surely looking really good for Improvise. Improvise also got 3 relics. The shots.
I think it actually kind of worked out alright for Kasva.
I was about to compliment Kasva's micro, and then of course the shot lands.
No, that was never going to work, unfortunately. It worked out better than I thought there. I thought those onagers could have really dispatched more.
Yeah, with onager shot and Mangadai and like people microing, trying to micro against 4 onagers. I oftentimes have this when I cast them. Oh, he should be dead. He's doing it. And last shot. Oh no.
This looks very comfortable for Improvise right now. Very comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a GG call before we hit 18 minutes.
It is game 5 though. If you want to stay long, right? It is this game, right? And he also already stayed quite long in the Hun War. But he's gonna lose all his Mangadai here. He's not pulling them back. That's not a good fight. 14 against 8.
It makes sense to drag out games when there are more to play. When you've got no games and it looks like it's decided, probably gonna bow out. But I know what you mean. Sometimes when it's the final game, you want to kind of play your heart out in the hope that you might be able to turn it around. But I think this might be a little bit too top heavy, right?
You don't want to stop playing it this stage, right, making it to the main event if you have like a 1% chance still. That was kind of my thinking, but I think the percentage is getting lower than 1%. What is that Exodus?
I mean, look at the villager waste, by the way, on the right-hand side here.
Yeah, that's
There's
what I meant
a lot
with
of
Exodus.
villagers to die. Yeah, yeah.
Trying to set up a new base where he still has a castle. I mean, he has still castles at home, at least. At least we're not running completely out of castles.
It's very tipped into Improvise's favor now. Definitely.
Definitely has. And he's again, like, playing it cautiously, like Kasva did last game. He has these 2 traps, this Mangadai, just protecting them there.
What? We got more villager losses. Yeah, the right hand upper right, you can see.
Where's he trying to go with them?
It's just lost them all. I guess he was trying to go for the gold, maybe a possible castle, forgetting that one's been built. I don't know what happened there. He's become very turtled, very defensible. This is exactly what Improvise wants to do to put him into that position. Gold's on the right-hand side that he was trying to get with mining camps who were denied. Mangadai coming in, trying to sweep up those camels. That's a huge overreaction, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't really know what to do with them. Doesn't want to risk them in the middle. I mean, at least he got like 47 Mangadai up, which is, for how dead he was, is pretty good. I don't think he will resign until those Mangadai are dead.
The only way Kasva could potentially stay in this game is if he somehow shored up his front and managed to pick those gold all around the outside and sweep into Improvise and then do some really nice tidy raiding against him. But I think looking at the resources, Improvise is way out in front. He's max popped, 124 bills. I can't see how he could come back from this.
Actually, more farms for Kasva. But I don't know if Improvise even has to push. He could just start raiding everywhere and hold that middle.
Yeah, I expected an earlier GG call. I'm surprised it hasn't. But we're going to see a castle coming up from Improvise.
And he's saying normally Improvise should win this, but his map awareness is super bad. He pushes both sides where there is 0 gold. What side? I guess you mean south side, where there's 0 gold, and top right side there are 5 gold camps. Yeah, I mean, Kasva's still somehow getting all those golds in the north, even making a castle there.
To be fair though, like, freaking Andy is probably alluding to some of the points I made about some of those game decisions that Improvise made. Some of them were really, you know, slightly, I don't know, could have been nerves. Some of them strange. Yeah, Onagers, nice pushing in
didn't
here
happen.
from Improvise. Yeah. No, it didn't happen, but nice push in.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, I feel like Kasva might win this battle. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, Rams are going down to the Mangadai. He has a hill advantage on some, not anymore. But he has a better Mangadai numbers. So you don't know if he's
yeah,
I
think he's got the better.
36, 34.
Yeah.
Okay, they're actually equal.
He's gonna win this battle. He's gonna win this fight. He just needs to watch out for those onagers behind. But he's gonna take down those Mangadai and then potentially take down those Trebs. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose too I would have probably prioritized taking down the Trebs. You can see here though the resources from Improvise being so heavy. He's just gonna macro kill him with all those Mangadai.
Yeah, one onager shot.
Side
for the Improvise favor though. There's still a top side, right? Still more villagers being added to those golds. So the Exodus, even though we kind of laughed about, is actually working.
Well, I feel like Kasva needed to hold on to that hill on his front line and basically not let his base fall. I feel like that's where the GG call is going to come. But as I say, I do agree with what freaking Andy was saying. I feel like his general, not just necessarily map awareness, but some of his game decisions and some of those early ones was a little bit questionable. And I feel like we saw it here maybe a little bit because he didn't sweep those side goals and just allowed Kasva just to take them. Which, you know, he could have,
50
like I said,
villagers on gold right now.
Yep.
But he has no resources and like 2k gold in the bank and 40 villagers on gold. It's still better than 0 gold and 50 villagers on gold.
Well, this is the problem. He's wasting too much because anything he produces is just being killed. He needs to mass and he needs onagers in order to do that, and he's not building onagers anymore. He's trying to get a Siege Workshop up there, you can see, but just one Siege Workshop when you're that empty on gold, irrespective of having 33 on that. You still need the Mangudai numbers, you still need Hussars.
Improvise found him now. Improvise found out about the north now because he's trying to make a castle there and it's being attacked by another castle. Now making outposts, like, okay, you're trying to run away. That outpost won't stay up though. Yeah, now all the Hussar raids are coming in. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Same thing, same time.
No, I was just going to say that there's castles up in that northern sort of easterly point. It's just pushing out now with trebuchets. He's going to take out that castle. Probably then bleed into his economy here and take out these gold spots. But it seems like Improvise is reacting to this kind of based on the fact that he's just seen a castle here rather than actually being on the being a bit proactive and taking that out ages ago, because he could have.
Yeah, allows Kasva to retake that hill where they fought earlier. But oh god, look at that! So many Mangudai and 9 Citron just waiting for Kasva to go there.
Yeah, those onagers, that's what Kasva needs. Doesn't have them. He's not going to win these fights without them. You see a tower come up as well from Improvise.
Yeah,
there you go. There's
Kasva tried to raise.
Is that the first tower of the series? I think.
The first tower? Yeah. I don't think you've seen them.
Kasva had a shot at the potential of taking this game. If with being able to just freely take those golds on the right, if he'd managed to get his economy numbers up, do lots of nice raiding, and maybe even push in with some surprise ram raid, onto a castle, and push in with Mangudai behind full of onagers to follow. I think he could have, potentially taken some of that attention off of his front line.
We see the last fight here, and I think those should end the game. Kasva's backing up.
Yeah, look at the onager numbers here as well. I mean, he'd have to be some pretty sick micro to stop those Mangudai.
That's not how it's done.
Nope. And the resource as well, still way out in the lead for Improvise. Nice balance across all lines. In comparison to Kasva, who is pretty much running on empty. 0 gold miners now, and only 1 relic in the bank.
Yeah, indeed, Andy. Everybody won his home sieves, and Improvise won game 1, and Kasva won game 6. And we saw a lot of Ghost Lake on the side of Kasva. And actually, Improvise picked Serengeti on his first home map, right? So he kind of gets another Serengeti game here.
He did, yeah.
And then that's over now. Center's being on a shutdown. I think by now also the right side is being taken over with 2 Rams and some Mangudai, so should be safe to say at this point that we're gonna see Improvise play for $10,000 in the main event.
Improvise is just closing this game off now. The GG call imminent.
There's a Mangudai going down. That was the moment I predicted that Kasva would say GG. Come on, Kasva.
Wow. There we go.
There we go. Okay, yeah, that counts. That counts.
Good is gone. I must say, hats off to both players, especially Kasva with, I think, some tremendously good play here, considering he doesn't play that much in the way of deathmatch.
Yeah, he's only kind of just started. He's got so good at it. I really hope he continues, also playing at least some deathmatch during the year, and then comes even stronger in next tournaments.
Yeah,
because he got so good so quick.
Yeah. I mean, Improvise must have been, going into that final game, he must have been thinking this could potentially go either way. I mean, he's taken 3 off me. I've taken 3 off him, but it could just be a roll of the dice here, and it could go the other way. So I think that's where Kasva's been had a little bit of kind of not necessarily, well, maybe a bit of misfortune, I'm gonna say, because even against me, the series was tied at 2-2. I took the 5th game, and then in this game, you can see game 7, he lost out. It was just so close, but just didn't have it in the moment that he needed it there.
Yeah, you're saying nice words about Kasva, and that's the moment he comes in with all of his viewers. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Kasva. Really, really well played in this series, in this tournament. And yeah, sadly, narrowly missing out on main event, but you put up a great show. And I just said that I hope you continue to play some deathmatch from time to time, because you got so good so fast at it. Really impressive performance.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is Katie here, which is the person that you played in the first matchup when we went 3-2. So I was just echoing that same sentiment from Otter. I think you've got a huge amount of potential, and to take 2 off me and then to take 3 off of Improvise, I think, yeah, hats off to you, man. I think you did really well.
Yes, I will contest for Deathmatch World Cup 5. Amazing to hear, Kasva, and yeah, really, really well played. As we already said. Also, thank you very much for the raid. And yeah, for some amazing games you got to cast today. It was a ton of fun.
Absolutely. I don't know if you were thinking about doing any kind of post-game interview with either of the players that are available. Yeah, that could be a shout.
Let me try. Who's Improvise actually on the Discord? Or maybe you wanna ask him?
Yeah, I can ask him. Just see if he's around. Give me 1 second, and I'll send him a message.
Yeti should be. I don't really know the time. You will have to look it up. But I guess it should start soon.
I must admit it was an unknown for me. I arrived late to this party, so I haven't caught up with everything.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be more games today. Also, it's gonna be Yeti against who's here? Yeti against Tempo. Then at 17 GMT, there's Hazy versus Chamber, and yeah, both of those are casted by Greek, and that's probably where I'm gonna send everybody after you do the little interview. If
yeah, seems like
Improvise is available.
Yeah, seems like he is. Just bear with me one.
Maybe just go to streaming in Deathmatch DM Gaming, streaming 1. It's probably the easiest.
Oh yeah, we could. Oh, I just invited him to your.
Okay, yeah, that also works. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, more people in my Discord. I don't mind.
If he wants to accept to come over, great. If not, then we can always jump on the other one.
Blobification just joined. Is that Improvise?
That's him. Yeah, that's the one.
He's playing Total War Warhammer for 2 minutes. He's already playing Warhammer.
Yeah, that's the go-to place when we were between games. Actually, he was playing some Warhammer.
Oh, that's
we were
nice.
Waiting for the servers to come up.
Yeah, I played quite some Total War in the past. Kind of stopped it to play Age of Empires, but
yeah, I played a little bit of it. Is it like, I think it's the Total War one, isn't it, that he plays?
What? Yeti's not playing? Greek, what? Can you change his mind, please? Or are you trolling me, Greek? Trolling the 87 viewers I have right now, or we have right now.
Otter Improvise is in
amazing.
one of your channels.
Welcome, Improvise! Congratulations to making main event.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, I have to turn you up way much.
Yeah, you're quite quiet.
I can turn myself up a little bit.
Yeah, I have you on 200%, but I think you could still turn yourself up a bit.
Okay, how is it now?
Should be good.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good? Okay, cool.
Congratulations, hard-fought series. Well played. How do you feel?
Yeah, that was really tough. Kasva played a heck of a series there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were both kind of, I think it was always kind of, for me anyway, thinking about it coming in, that it could be a close game, a close series. But I think that probably my siding with your DM experience potentially pulled through for you here. But for Kasva not having that much, you must have been thinking to yourself as you went into that final game of that series, thinking like it could go either way here, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it certainly was just like more overall experience for me, but I didn't really know what to expect from Kasva, and as soon as we played that second game, I think was the Vikings, I was like, okay, well, he's he's definitely a threat here. And then yeah, going into the last game, I felt pretty good. I liked my chances on open maps, and I liked Mongols, but Yeah, it was definitely still up in the air. He played very good, very smart play, was taking the map, and a lot of good rating early on too. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I want to walk with you through the games a bit, if that's okay, Improvise. But Kasva also asking in the chat, was it harder than you expected, Improvise? So as it's a question from your opponent, I'm gonna do that first.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I had no clue what to expect. I had never seen Kasva play. I didn't really do my homework beforehand, although I knew that him and my previous opponent, Adam, had a very close series there, and I think there was something went on there. I wasn't exactly
I don't
sure
know
what
if it was a
happened.
close series. It was an eventful series. Let's just put it there.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew that they could be close games, but I felt pretty good with my experience. So yeah, I guess I didn't really know what to expect going in. Was kind of just playing it by ear.
All
But
right.
he played very good,
Yeah, he
especially
did.
for such little deathmatch experience.
He picked it up really like he started playing deathmatch, I think something like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago or something.
Oh wow.
But he had some really good people to train with. He trained with Code and Kellen, I think.
Oh okay.
So I
Well,
hope you
that
don't
makes
feel
sense.
betrayed by your fellow 20 members.
I'm gonna have to send Kellen a message after this.
All right, is it okay for you if we walk through the 7 games a bit, because it was a super exciting series and I have
Sure. Yeah,
some
sounds good.
questions. So Goss was game 1, Goss Golden Pit. Oh god, it's hard for me to remember what happened there. Maybe you start, or you have questions, KD. But I think you went a bit later to the middle than him. What was your thinking about how to approach the map there?
Yeah, I'd played a couple games, and it seemed like it'd be very tough to like end the game early by pushing up that hill. So I felt pretty good that I could at least get into the middle at some point. And I think I just ended up having a better food eco than him. And I did notice in the game he marketed and he bought a bunch of food, so I knew he was very low
Yeah.
on that. And I think I just had a better food eco, and that was kind of the difference. Able to get a couple raids in.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can panic, can't you, with when you're playing something like Goths as well. If you think, oh, I've kind of burned out my gold here, I need to kind of just buy it up by sort of selling food, and get your gold output. Then actually it can end up kind of hurting you, especially if you don't build scorpions. And we didn't really see many from Casper in that game, so you might have been feeling quite confident as you didn't have any castles on the middle of the map at that point, but you could just press into him and just pretty much stabilize in the middle and just hit him hard. So you must have been feeling pretty confident when your side raids came out at that point as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a pretty accurate assessment there. Yeah, I did notice he didn't have a lot of scorps early, so I thought I was trading pretty well. Probably had in food, eco, and yeah, it turned out pretty well.
Yeah. Nice. Also, did you have any other questions about the next set of civs?
Yeah, let's go to game 2. Then was the Vikings game. So there, you already mentioned that you noticed you had to fight hard in that game, and
Yeah,
we were wondering
yeah.
why did you go for that south side there? That didn't seem to have too many resources.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly myself, so I won't defend my decision there. Yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting quite a strong push from him through the middle, so I thought I could just kind of set up, take the map, and play into the later game. But he had a better composition and controlled it better and really put the pressure on. So kind of steamrolled me once he got going.
Yeah, we must have, like, we were watching it and we were thinking that's some questionable decision making going down towards the south. And I was thinking to myself, does nerves play into this? I mean, how did you feel going into this series? Did you feel like nerves kind of caught you out on any of the games, or you just felt you were just playing a game and that's just kind of landslided in that moment where he pushed you down the middle in that Viking game?
Yeah, I think I felt pretty comfortable, not too nervous. I think I could have just used some more practice overall. I haven't been playing as much as I probably should for this event leading up to it. But yeah, definitely did not take the map as well as I should have, and he made me pay for it.
Yeah, also you chose to go with a lot of scorpions and rams. I wonder what if like that was planned to go for the scorpions. To us, it seemed like onagers are or were the better choice, and Kasva just went ham on onagers and then rams for pushing your base, kind of.
Yep, I agree with you. I think onagers would have been the much better choice. I overdid it on the scorpions, and they didn't really do too much, honestly.
Yeah, we were both watching that game, and we saw that you both put down 4 barracks apiece in the Viking game. And, you know, we probably see more, I probably see more like 2 or 3, and certainly my preference is to go slightly fewer because champions kind of come null and void once you kind of get the berserkers out. So we saw quite a heavy push for Arbalest, and we kind of put it, well, I put it in favor of Kasva there in that opener because I thought he's probably going to get the better KD trade because you know, you wouldn't have had much up in that moment. But did you kind of think in that moment like, you know, I've got some berserkers out, I've got some arbalists, I've got some like scorpions and some rams, and you kind of went top heavy on rams as well at one point, and it was like you were trying to push out, but everything went defensive. Like, did you think at one point there like, I probably wanted a better unit composition here in this moment, and probably less a bit scorpion? Were you thinking that in that moment as he was kind of pushing into you?
Yes, 100%. I kind of burned myself out there. I thought I was in a good spot, kind of real early on, felt pretty good, and then soon realized like, oh, okay, this isn't quite going so well. And definitely wish I didn't make so many champions and so many scorpions.
That is the thing. It often boils down to that sometimes, especially as we well, I was going to say we roll on to the Incas game. For us, that's how it went because the next game we didn't see. But Otto, did you have any other questions about the Viking game before we close off?
I think we got that covered. I'm curious to know what happened in the Franks War as well. Because it was too quick for us to catch it, I guess?
Yeah, it was a very quick game. Franks is just a civ I have played a ton since. Like I started in AOK, so I felt very good on that, and I was just able to pick off most of his villagers and then overwhelm him with army numbers. So that one went pretty quick, pretty smoothly.
I mean, so quick we thought the game might have crashed and that, you know, like you were rehosting because of something, because it just was over like in a flash. It was like 3-4 minutes in and the game was down. So well done to you, credit to you for ending it so quick, because you might have been thinking,
thank you.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like when you're in a tournament series, you kind of, it's horrible in that moment if you're the person on the receiving end of it, but it's nice sometimes when you just get one win straight in the bag and you think, well, that was nice and easy, very quick, right, move on to the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
So you must have been thinking that.
Absolutely, yep. That one felt good. I was hoping to take that one as it was my home civ, home map. And yeah, worked out pretty well.
So
then you hit you with. Oh, you have more questions?
No,
no,
okay. No. Sorry, I had no more questions about Franks, but I'm really interested to ask one question around the Incas. But you go ahead, Otto. You might have it already.
Yeah, then he hits you with the Incas, and we see archery ranges on one side and Rex on the other side.
Yes.
You may want to explain that.
I wasn't thinking too much going into it. I was like, maybe 3-4 racks, try and get some eagle pressure, snipe some bills. And as soon as I saw him going for archery ranges, I was like, okay, that's definitely the better strategy here. I kind of screwed up. These aren't going to be useful. And then I saw him massing the onagers as well with the slingers. I knew that was going to be tough. And I was kind of playing catch up after that start.
Kitty, your turn.
Yeah, sorry. So, like, when we saw that opener, I think, both myself, Otter, and the chat were kind of thinking, is there some kind of other meta that you've got kind of, up your sleeve? You're going to do something with the Eagles, maybe try and get some early, like, map presence and then do something from there. But we know that slingers are obviously very, very powerful. And it felt like versus Kasva in the second game of the Viking and then obviously in the Inca War in game 4, it felt like you kind of let those games slip in the same way. Like, he just pushed you straight down the middle, and it's exactly the same. Like, the setting couldn't have been any different. And you must have been thinking to yourself, like, how did I make this kind of like mistake here in this Incas War. Like it's already happened to me in the Vikings, but it's happening again. So just thoughts on generally how the game played out thereafter, like if you thought you could come back or anything at all?
Yeah, it was kind of deja vu there with the Vikings game. I think there was one point where he pushed me in pretty hard, and I looked at the score, and I was like slightly ahead, but I definitely didn't feel ahead in the game, and kind of thought I could come back. But then, yeah, he just kept the pressure up. Had a much better composition, much smarter play in the game. So credit to him. That was very well played.
Indeed, he didn't let the pressure off. Then we went to your second home map, Hans Arabia. So you picked Hans and Franks, very very classic.
Yeah.
Was that? Did you always intend to pick Hans and Franks, or was that based off like the Franks were going so well?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know what I was going to pick for my second one. And then after the Franks War went well, I kind of got the feeling that I had a better chance in faster, more open map style Civ and map setups. So I decided to go for the Huns, and I think it worked out pretty well. I did make a small mistake, I think, and I built a market, then failed to use it until a bit later, and by that time he'd taken kind of the top off of it.
He got the top. Yeah, we saw you both getting 2.5k, and I was wondering who got it.
Yeah, he sold them down to about 60, and then I sold the rest. And I sold stone too, and then realized I didn't have any left for town center, so I had to buy a little bit back, which kind of sucked. But
it can happen to the best of us sometimes. I think one of the things I would say, and I think Kaspa's not still here. I think he was wishing you the best of luck, and he's off now. But one of the things I would say is he kind of had two modes of playing. Like either he was kind of going all in, like in the Vikings and the Incas that we saw, or like in the Huns, like he was kind of turtling up and wasn't really kind of making the most of the map. And I think, you're always in a confident position, aren't you, when you manage to get like 5 gold spots, including main gold, on the map, and then they've only got main gold +2. And that's what happened in this game. And I felt like Kasva probably slipped into a moment there where he kind of was just turtling. Probably something for him to take away is, just to try and push out, even if, even if you think to yourself in that moment, just having that better military control is the best choice. And I felt like, in that moment, once you had that with the forward hill, you must have just thought, I'm super comfortable now. Like, it's just going to be a matter of attrition. We were quite surprised at the end to see that you'd used up all your gold, but I guess you were just trying to shut the game down and just end it and just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I'd say that's totally accurate. Yeah, by the end, I kind of felt pretty confident that he didn't have anywhere to go, and I had the extra gold on him, and I would be able to put my armor to use. But yeah, I think that's also very accurate about him kind of turtling in the other games when he would kind of take the map and castle around and then have a strong push as well. I felt kind of on the back foot, and it made it really tough. But the Huns game, I felt very comfortable, was able to get castles up around the map and control the golds, and never really felt any pressure or worry that game.
No, it was nicely played. I don't have any other questions, Otter. Any other questions on the Huns game?
Not to the Huns. I have a lot of questions about the Persians. So let's get to that. You sniped 2 villagers off the start.
I did not even notice that.
I think, right? That KD, correct me? I think that was the game where...
Yeah, there were two snipes right at the beginning. Because the reason I recollect that is because of the archery ranges that you built. Or we built one, didn't you, in that Persian War? So explain your thinking there. Like, what happened there? You seem to snipe 2 fools you weren't too sure about. Possibly a scout just doing that on auto, and then the archery range. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm old and slow, so I just leave my scout over there, shift click the bills, and then usually don't really pay attention to it after that. The archery range, I wasn't sure what his start was going to be, if he was going to do kind of a clump or get some castles with enclosed villagers, and then I could snipe them. But he did a more aggressive opening with stables and barracks, so the archery range was pretty well nullified, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say as well that like in that moment, you opening with the castle line, I was saying, I was thinking, this is surely yours in the bag here. You're gonna push out onto that hill. You've got the main gold there right behind. It seemed like everything was going great for you, but because I was watching Kasva's perspective and I was thinking, he's gone stables and racks. Maybe that's some input from Kellen, even if he was doing some training there, because I've often seen him open like that. But I thought that doesn't seem like that's going to trade well for him. Actually, got some nice raids off on you. Probably got quite fortunate with picking more vills than probably you were expecting and just slowing down your economy. So, I'm going to come to it because I want to explore a little bit about how you felt in the game where you I felt maybe went kind of all in a little bit. But what's your thought there? Like, were you thinking, I've got this game, and then suddenly it was like, oh wait, I don't have as much on the map as I thought I did?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. He definitely had very good raids there. He used those paladins very well. Slowed down my eco. And I still felt like I was in a good spot. I got castles up, I think, sooner than him. But he did manage to take that small hill in front of his base, and I was able to get 4 relics, so I really misplayed that by trying to be so aggressive. And I think there was one moment where I had my L's and Scorpions and then kind of like just went in, and then I quickly realized like I'm not going to win that fight, but backing out is so hard. The Scorpions are so slow, and he just kept on coming and took the advantage there and then didn't let up. So
yeah, before that fight, you guys were kind of like, we talked a lot about the map at the start of that game, and you guys kind of both got the things that we thought you would get, you would go for, you should get. He ended up getting that hill that he needed in front of his. You ended up getting the right side that was very important for you. And he did well in the raids, and then it came down to that big army fight there that KD was already calling before it. Okay, now Improvise. Please just stay at home. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah.
That would have been the smart play. I should have, got my eco set up and then played for kind of the later game, but got a little over aggressive, and he made me pay for it.
Yeah, I honestly, if you watch the game back on Otter's stream after this, I was going, just don't move, just stay still, just no, you've gone in. I thought, oh no, it's gonna go south for you now, because exactly what you just said, you put everything in, and like you say, you don't have the mobility with Persians as you do with other civs. It's not like in, I don't know, like a Hun or a Spanish or any other kind of cavalry base where you can just run in with some paladins and some carry archers or some conquistadors or whatever and just run out again. Like
exactly.
Everything's committed and it's slow. One of the things that we would have said, or I said certainly on the right-hand side of the map in the Persians War, is you built those 2 nice castles, and I felt like if you'd sat still and kind of waited for him to press in, maybe you would have traded, kind of, it could have been 50-50 there, but I felt like you could have done something with the side of that map. Just post-game reflection, do you think you could have done anything where you hit into the side of his base and actually kind of put him under pressure rather than just kind of sitting there waiting for him to kind of just drive down the middle? Just to kind of take his attention away, or were you just thinking it just went the way it went and I just played it wrong in that moment?
No, I definitely agree with you. On that right side, I had opportunities. I just didn't really set up my eco in a way that I could afford to send stuff over there, especially after losing that fight. If I had just kind of camped it out on the left side, made it even, then I definitely could have utilized that hill that I took. But did not go my way, so
Yeah, you tried to fight on for quite a while. I think, I still have to say you did a really good job at like maintaining farm numbers. I mean, your EQ wasn't really set up that well at the moment where you lost that big fight, but then you kind of kept 50 farms all through that exodus that you did towards the right side. I mean, it was kind of over, but it was a really good effort.
But it was like that was match point, wasn't it, at that point for you? And it was like when I saw that monastery get struck and the 4 relics pop out, I was thinking head in hands, like, oh, I bet he's looking at the screen, thinking.
You put those 3 castles on your old base too.
In Persians War, that could really be a decider in a long game, right? Having that, and then sadly you couldn't slow him down. He had the momentum at that point, and he just snowballed. So yeah, that was a sad turn of events. But
Exactly, yeah. And I felt pretty good going into the game because I do like Persian War, but definitely I think maybe a little overconfident, and then just very well played by him.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so last game. So we should talk about that. Otto, you want to?
Yeah, what was like? How were you feeling going into that game 7 after the Persian War?
I was a little concerned, I suppose. Just I wanted to make it to the main event, but I felt pretty good overall. I like Mongols, and like I said earlier, I think on the open maps, I've got a little bit of an advantage just from experience and maybe a speed advantage in deathmatch over him. So I felt fairly confident, but knew that I had to play a good game to win it.
Take it away with questions to the game, Kitty.
Yeah, sure. So I think in the Mongol game, I think I was in your kind of camp in terms of like how I thought you could potentially win the game. Like my opening kind of like assessment was if you just take that side hill that he tried to get and he managed to put that castle on in that Mongol game, that final game.
Yeah.
And then you took it down because you had like loads of camels parked on it, which actually did you a favor, I suppose, in the end, because you weren't under any significant pressure at that point, and you chomped it down to like 20% HP or whatever, and then the Rams kind of almost finished.
Yeah, I thought that was a mistake. It ended up being the game-winning move, kind of.
But like you could have swept out to the right-hand side, and there were loads and loads of goals. I mean, I don't know how much you played Serengeti, but on the right-hand side, you can see there's like loads of those mini little goals, and it kind of felt like in that moment, like if I switched to Kasva's camp in that moment, I thought, well, he could potentially do a really nice opener here. He was a little bit boxed in with trees, but he could potentially do quite a bit to you. And he took out more villagers than you did in the opener. So I was thinking, he could actually do something here. But you had a nice defensible position. One of the things that we were kind of I don't know about yourself, Walter, but like surprised about was that there was all this free like gold on the right hand side. And you kind of wanted to go for more like staged attacks down the middle and just kind of pressure him into losing more units and then kind of exhaust him and kill him that way. And we were just kind of surprised that you didn't kind of have that map awareness at that point. It felt like to just take those golds, or were you just not bothered? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely poor awareness, I would say. The right side should have been more of a priority there. I felt pretty good once I was able to stop the castle, take that hill, and then once he was able to get it up and then knock it down, and I realized, like, just looking at the score, I think I was 2,000 or 3,000 ahead at that point with fairly good eco setup, so I knew I had an advantage, but I certainly should have realized that the right side was going to be much more crucial because he did get like a really deep castle there, and I think he took 2 of the gold piles, maybe one of the stones over there. So that was just poor awareness and map control on my part. But I think I had, just enough of a military advantage, was able to knock down castles and take good trades and able to get a pretty good lead that way. And then I was able to also steal some deep relics there. So I knew once I had 4 relics in a Mongols war, that's pretty important.
100%, and especially as well, like you can even if you trail out on relics, you can actually beef up your farm, up to like huge numbers, and hussars can actually do quite a bit of damage, more than people probably expect with the HP bonus that they have. And I think in that game, like for me, I felt like if Kasva was going to come back in that game and it was suddenly going to table switch, I thought the only way that was going to be possible is if he just kind of massed up onagers on the hill line and then just kind of drove his eco up and then basically raided you to hell and sort of pushed back with the seeming potential later game gold advantage by taking those golds on the right, potentially knocking you away from there. But to be honest, we didn't see that. He didn't bake the onagers in that moment. So you'll probably think to yourself, yeah, sure, you can snipe me as much as you want with Mangadai, but like I've got onagers here in the back. So like anytime you push into me, I just crush you with those. So I guess you're feeling pretty confident that you had that game in the bag and that you were gonna close this series off at that point.
Yeah, I felt quite good, and I was able to take pretty much the full market as well, which can be pretty important in Mongols. And our trades were pretty even, but I knew I'd collected more gold than him, so I was going to be able to leverage that and keep pushing him down. and yeah, he could have potentially come back with a lot of raids. But my eco got fairly well set up, and I had good castle positions, I think, to protect it. And yeah, I think the biggest misplay in that one was definitely letting him get so deep on the right side there.
Yeah.
But
It was
I
also
also
very
felt,
clutch with those 2 castles on the hill. I mean, he was at the first time he tried to get it up. I think he was at 94%. At some point, you also had a castle at 89%, being stopped by his castle making it up later. But yeah, by then you had that position. But if he gets that position at the start and also has the expansion to the right, he even tried to put
agreed.
2 castles on that hill where you narrowly stopped that castle. So it was
Okay.
that moment felt like really nice edge, and I was saying, okay, maybe that was the game deciding moment. You stopping that castle there.
Yeah, I think so. If he gets that, he's in a very good spot. But yeah, I was luckily able to notice it and go snipe the villagers, the initial ones, and then kind of ram it down and camel it down, I suppose, before he's
Yeah.
able to get it up.
I have one last question again. You added like 2 barracks for pikemen. We had a little debate about that. I think I've seen it a bit more now. Mongols, like I think last summer everybody said pikemen and Mongols is a big mistake. And 2021, I've seen people say that pikeman edition can be good in Mongols. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it can be all right. I actually played 2 games against Leash, Austin, and he did the pikeman, and I kind of talked to him a little bit about it. We kind of said it can be good early pushing because Mangudai takes so long to get out and to really be effective, and it's kind of a camel battle early on. And since Mongols don't really struggle in wood and food all that much, it's a good way to kind of use those resources and get a little more pushing power early on. So yeah, I went for it. I don't really think they made much of a difference there, but I think they can be good.
So, I was just gonna say, just a kind of more kind of high level of everything that I've seen from like these like games that we've spoken about all the way through is like for me, I think with Kasva, I think one thing if he listens back to this is to think about, raiding more, bit more in way of map control, not turtling as much. I feel like when he did raid is where he probably hurt you the most. And when he actually spread out and did some stuff on the map, um, and also just sometimes building that pressure, like some of that's really good, like having a sometimes closing games down, we kind of overlook that for some of the people that are kind of rising stars in the deathmatch kind of scene. Like Casper has that, so I guess if he can just expand on some of those elements, he can do really, really well. Like one of the things that I'd say for Casper, like his critical stuff is his survivability and his army control. Like we saw that even in like, I don't know, I can't think of an exact example, but a Huns game, for example, he did turtle, but he was trying to go more army control. I think sometimes he has some really, really good survivability through that. He just needs to not think about that too much, and then
Yeah.
probably needs to expand outside of like Huns and be really great there. I mean, would you say that's quite a fair assessment? So looking at him as an opponent, like going forward, just for kind of comments that you would say to him, like how he could improve and things that he could do.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say that's very fair. I think his strongest games were when he was able to get out and raid me and kind of put me on the back foot. And I think that's really important in games is just keep pressure on your opponent because, when you're able to play just comfortably, set up your eco, have your military cruising around, it just makes the game so much easier. And when you're kind of having to deal with things all over the map and they mess with your eco getting set up, that just makes such a huge difference. And yeah, he's got very good army control. In several of the games, he had very good map control, getting buildings up all over the map, kind of sneaking villagers out. And I think, yeah, if he focuses on that, I mean, if he's only been playing for 4 or 5 weeks, and I know he's a very good RM player too, and those skills are very transferable to DM, then he's going to be quite the deathmatch player in the future.
Yeah,
I
couple of
can
couple of mistakes that we saw, didn't we, Otto? Like where he just like spammed in some villagers down the middle.
Oh
in
god,
the Vikings game.
the Vikings won that kind of point.
Yeah, and also like where he wasn't building like against me when we played the Lith game in game 5 of our series. He didn't build paladins at the beginning. So a couple of things he needs to correct there for sure. Otto, like any thoughts as well on that or?
Yeah,
I agree
just
with what
like
you
an
guys say.
experience thing, really. I mean, if he's been playing for 4 or 5 weeks, he's not gonna have the experience of playing. I've played thousands and thousands of deathmatch games, so
Yeah,
and you will be in the main event. You didn't play last World Cup, if I remember correctly.
I did not. No, this will be my first one actually.
Your first World Cup, all right. Congratulations to making the main event on that. Yeah, what's your expectations for yourself in the main event, and who would you like to face?
I am very excited. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to want to practice a lot more, and I've got plenty of good people to practice with, so on me to do that. Who would I like to play? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and I'll take Viper first round. See what I can do.
That's kind of obvious confidence answer to that. I was expecting you to say Viper, to be honest. Like it would be the very Quendy thing to do to say, "Give me Viper," right?
Yeah. Let's see if we can put him in the losers bracket first.
Some revenge on Ted O'Callaghan last way. Yeah.
Well, one thing I was just gonna add is like obviously you and I played, and like some of the things I would say from playing you and also then coming through to watching you play against Kasva is I feel like I watched some of your games against May. It wasn't very easy for me to necessarily like make comments because I kind of felt like May probably you kind of outleagued him just in those games that I saw. At least that's how I felt. But I feel like some of your probably areas to work on is like we all have areas to work on, but like some of the ones that I just wanted to see if you agree is like gaming like a few game decisions. I think there was a couple of moments there, like in the Viking game, where you probably just did something there in the south, which maybe on hindsight could have been changed. Learning some other civs, like obviously like the Incas that we saw, and like just general map awareness, like we saw in the Mongol game, and maybe some general sort of speed things, like you said about not seeing hitting, and doing stuff like that. I mean, I think Otto alluded to it there, but taking that onto account and just seeing if you agree as well, if there's any other elements, like how are you going to prepare for the main event now? You're going to go away and like work on these things, rank games, practice, or how any ideas on that? Or
I think a mix of those, and I would say like for all the deathmatch I've played, I haven't played too much 1v1 in the last 3 years, so I've definitely got some updating to do on my civ matchups and how to play those. And then in general, just decision making, speed, certainly. I mean, I've got plenty to work on, I would say, but I think just getting a bunch of games in with good players, all the Quindy guys and whoever else wants to play. It's I'm open to play. Whoever wants to train can send me a message on Discord. And I will say, very well played in that series, KD. That was good games, and you played a very impressive series there.
Thank you. I felt like the Magyars game was definitely like the game, I think, of the series for me anyway. Like I felt like that was it was really intense because we that was like a first game clash, and then it was kind of like it could go either way in that game, I felt. And I'd say the same, like extend the same to you. Like I'm gonna be out obviously like practicing for these games. I'm gonna be doing rank, I'm gonna be looking for games against other players as well. So if at any point you want to play, like just hit me up on Discord. I'll do the same to you if you're around, and we can always see if you can best me in another like little friendly best of 3 or whatever.
That would be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a great first game. You played great army control and great hill control, sniping trebs and just doing all the right things there.
Tell me when that's happening, guys.
Sorry?
Tell me when that best of 3 is happening. I'm excited to see that. But Improvise, you kind of dodged my question about what your goal is in main event, so I want to try asking that again.
Sure, yeah.
Seeing that you already won a tournament, you just a bit hinted to that in 2020, late 2020, with you saying your 1v1 experience. Obviously, you played a lot of team games there, and you guys ended up reverse sweeping the hell out of Finland in the grand finals.
Yeah. great series there. That was a lot of fun.
That was so fun. It's like they can't do that. It's Quendy, maybe. It's like I think I was saying, okay, they're just gonna do it again, like in the semifinals. But to come back to World Cup, yeah, like there's 32 players in World Cup. You said you're gonna beat Viper first round, and then what's the goal after that, right?
I would say, I mean, my goal is win the tournament. Honestly, I would say, I'm not super confident in my odds of that. I certainly need a lot of practice, and there's so many great players out there. But yeah, my goal is to, get to the finals and win this thing.
You heard it here first.
Certainly a very uphill battle. I'm well behind a lot of the players in there, but that's what I'll be shooting for.
I think we see like some players, like just some surprising results. I don't know if about you or what your opinion is on this. I'm sorry, I'm going to pick on this player, but Tempo's game with Yeti, like I was just thinking that Tempo is going to do something different in those games, and we saw something completely out of the odds. We got one player that seeded a lot lower in clearly the opinion of when it was put together by the admins, and then you've got someone like Tempo who's seeded a lot higher, and then kind of be 3-1'd out by Yeti in that moment. Like,
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, yeah, in that series, that's what happened in those games. I'm pretty sure it was 3-1, unless you correct me if I'm wrong there, Otter.
It was 3-1,
yeah, 3-1. So, like, I think it can be anyone's game in some ways. Like, I feel like some of the more seasoned players, we're going to see some real caliber brought to the table. So sometimes you're going to see these and you're going to think, I don't know how well I'm going to do up against these players, but actually there's some where you see like, Tempo very, very highly rated in the rank, expecting him to come in. Nerves can always play a factor. Like it could be that, you think I come into the series, I'm expecting something a lot, potentially more challenging, but something goes the other way. And we see that from time to time, right? I guess nerves and other things can come into play.
Yeah, that is surprising. I mean, Yeti's definitely a very good player, but yeah, I guess I would have expected Tempo as well. So yeah, it's kind of, you just have to take it series by series and try and play your best on each day and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, Yeti played a storm of a game up against him. I watched the series as well, and but I just didn't see anything from that in that particular series as an example from Tempo as expected. As I say, I'm not looking to pick on anyone in particular, but that was one of the standout ones for me, where I thought it was going to be one way and it was completely the other. So I think, like I say, I think there's going to be some upsets. I think we're going to see some moments where, one set of spectators watches the game and just absolutely thinks it's going to be in favor of another player, and then suddenly it goes the other way. So I'd be really interested to see coming into the main event now, because actually, speaking of Tempo, sorry, making this about him now, but where is he actually finished his series now? Is it him again?
They haven't played. There's a lot of talk about it in my chat and in DM Gaming right now, that somehow they aren't playing and they should reschedule or not. I think the admins will talk about that as we speak. Because there was some scheduling.
He's playing Yeti again.
If he's going again, but the decider will be Tempo against Yeti again. So actually, the combination you just talked about, and hopefully it will happen and we'll see it.
Because in that group you had Tempo went up against Yeti, right? So Yeti then defeated Tempo. Then you had in that same group you had Leaf and you had Keller, and then Leaf bested Keller. Is that right?
Yeah, 3-2. It was 3-2, 3-2 for Keller.
That's right. And then Yeti lost out to JB. Leaf. So then that put him down to rematch as it is now. So yeah, because I think Keller then lost out to Tempo as well. You see, because then it was 3-2 to Tempo against Keller. So now it's those two players again meeting in the same group stage to decide it for going through to the main event. So it'll be really interesting. I really want to watch those games to see what happens.
If I may ask you, we should kind of let you go soon. This was already long interview. Improvise. What do you think about Leaf's chances? Because I also don't know too much about him. You're both two the old Quendy members, so I don't know how well you know each other. But I assume you do. You're both from US and both old Quendy members.
Yeah, I know JB quite well actually. We've played since oh goodness, like 8 to 10 years ago. And I went up and I actually, both him and Kellen live in Washington. So I went up maybe 5 years ago and we all went out and got a drink together.
Nice.
JB's a really great guy. I love his style. I think it like he's the guy who sometimes he just doesn't care, so he just makes no eco, and he goes hardcore on the rating, very fast style. But when he's like motivated to play, he is definitely one of the best deathmatch players. And I'm assuming he's going to be motivated to play this tournament.
Should
so
be.
I'm expecting good things from him. He's quite a good player.
All right, great to hear, and also great to see everybody. So many players like coming back that were super strong in the past and competing in Deathmatch World Cup 4, and obviously like both you and Leaf making it into main event.
Yeah, it's great. I love having a lot of people looking to play deathmatch games. Because deathmatch has had its ups and downs, and it's been tough to find good players to play with. At times, but when these big tournaments are going on, then you've got lots of action and makes for a lot of fun.
Yeah, even I got my Viper game on Rect as well the last days.
Oh, nice.
I completely blacked out. I was just like, okay, nice. I'm getting a Goth War on 4 legs. Okay, yeah, that should be my game. Then I saw the opponent's name, my mind completely went blank, and I like misplaced the gather point of the Rex, and then I overmade Scorpions and didn't have Onagers. It was
Oh no! So you didn't beat him in 10 minutes, man?
I didn't. Well, like when the other guys played Viper, like when Andy, and I think he was more rusty than he was when I got him. But yeah, I mean, obviously my chances aren't that high, right? I'm not. I barely made it into World Cup, but all the qualifiers. But I was hoping that it's Goths, and then that hope completely destroyed me nerve-wise.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe I can beat Viper and Goths, maybe I can beat Viper, and then just stupid bullshit because I couldn't think anymore.
I mean, he is definitely a absolute beast. That guy is something. So no shame in losing to him.
Of course not. Okay, but you're gonna get revenge for me in round 1 of World Cup. We've established that. So
Exactly. Yep.
as long as he matches with him. As long as he matches with him.
I'm sure the admins are listening here. President's still in the chat, so give us that, President.
They'll sort you out.
Cool.
So just from me, I just want to say congrats on obviously winning the series. Best of luck, obviously going into the main event, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. Same to you, man. Good luck, and yeah, let's make this an awesome